The swirling leaves suddenly converged in a single spot. They fused together, forging a colossal greatsword from thin air. It took aim at the cowering Can Pha, who was hiding behind his barrier. At the same time, our hero roared a command. Slash! As ordered, the greatsword lunged forward with wine-dripping speed. The old villain could only stare blankly, utterly clueless. A second later, true fear finally struck him, his face turning deathly pale. His confident smirk evaporated as he hastily raised his saber to defend. In that same instant, the giant sword crashed against his protective barrier, a massive fissure spiderwebbed across its surface. Seeing the shield was just moments from shattering, our hero pressed his advantage with another technique: boundless falling wood. At his command, thousands more razor-sharp leaves swarmed Can Pha's shield, who could only watch with his mouth agape, sweat pouring down his face. Finally, the barrier gave way, shattering into nothingness and forcing him to frantically dodge. Storm of leaves now aimed at skewering him, but with so many projectiles, how could he possibly dodge them all? A single leaf grazed past him, slicing off a piece of flesh from his face. It took with it the last shred of his remaining dignity. Its mission complete, the offending leaf embedded itself deep into the ground. Inspired by the first strike, the other leaves eagerly followed suit, racing to see who could plant themselves in the earth faster, creating a dense field of deadly spikes. He thought he'd dodged cleanly, but a stinging pain flared on his cheek. He reached up to touch it, and looking down at his hand, he saw it covered in blood. A chunk of his flesh was gone. The sight sent him into a blind rage, his blood boiling as he roared, "You animal! I will tear you to 100 pieces." Suddenly, plumes of dark energy erupted from Can Pha's body, and his eyes turned a terrifying blood red. "I will shred you into 1,000 pieces." The sheer force of this new power ripped his robes to shreds. His body began to swell, growing larger than an entire arena. A mystical violet aura pulsed around him, as if he'd just gathered all 7 Dragon Balls, causing him to scream out in agony. Our hero, Qin Nan, was now no bigger than one of his feet. He could only exclaim in shock. His body, it's transformed. The ancestor, watching from the side, was frozen in shock, his eyes wide with horror. This black key, it's demonic energy. Hearing this, our hero broke into a cold sweat and asked, "Has Can Pha been possessed by a demon?" The ancestor analyzed the situation. "No, this is different. Although he's emitting demonic ki, his body lacks the unique traits of a true demon. For instance, he has no horns, and his hands haven't morphed into claws." As he spoke, the ancestor wiped sweat from his brow. This energy is more akin to the black key found within the Black Dragon Ravine. Just as he finished, the colossal Can Pha swung his massive hand toward the two of them. It was a brutal greeting, an impossibly fast strike that our hero couldn't possibly react to. He was snatched by the neck and lifted into the air like a helpless chick. His throat was crushed by the Titan's grip. Not even a saint could endure it. He gasped for air, eyes squeezed shut, clawing uselessly at the giant's hand as blood spurted from his mouth. Holding him aloft with one hand, the giant raised his other fist. He growled, "I'll make you taste the price of provoking me." Without another word, not even giving him a chance to cry out, he unleashed a lightning-fast punch straight into our hero's stomach. In an instant, a gaping hole, the size of the giant's fist, was torn through his abdomen. A gruesome, bloody crater. In his colossal form, he looked down on Qin Nan with utter contempt, as if staring at an insect. After torturing him, he hurled him down to the earth with devastating force. The impact shattered the ground 4 miles. Seeing their future champion being brutalized, the father and his daughter, Lily, could only stare in wide-eyed horror. They screamed his name in anguish. "Qin Nan!" Driven by absolute rage, they both charged the giant to avenge him. "Kill him!" Seeing 2 more ants dared to defy him, he merely glanced their way, his brow furrowing in annoyance. "You noisy insects, do you truly not fear death?" Without a hint of mercy or hesitation, he simply swung his hand. Before they could even get close, The force of the blow sent them flying back dozens of meters. With a deafening crash, they both slammed into the cliff face, sending up a cloud of dust and debris. The villagers, who were waiting to be rescued, watched this scene unfold, breaking out in a cold sweat. All hope was lost. After that single blow, the father and Lili lay sprawled on the ground. The daughter was unconscious, while her father could only utter 2 words, "Damn you." At this sight, the giant clenched his fists and let out a maniacal laugh, proclaiming, "I am the king of this great desert, and soon I will be king of this world." He then continued to laugh like a madman. The captured villagers, terrified he would blast them into oblivion, immediately fell to their knees. They began to chant in unison, "Long live the king of the great desert." One young man saw the blind girl next to him still standing, confused, and quickly pushed her down. "Quick, kneel." Meanwhile, Qin Nan lay on his back, staring lifelessly at the sky. "Insisto, am I about to die?" The ancestor's voice echoed with encouragement. "You are the successor to the Asura god of war's bloodline. The Asura god of war awakens his true power in the face of death. You can do it, too." The ancestor added, "A true dragon is reborn from Nirvana's ashes." But despite the spiritual boost, our hero felt himself fading from the mortal realm. Sweat poured down his face, his eyes barely able to stay open as he gasped, "But I can feel my very life force slipping away." Trapped beneath the rubble, his father desperately crawled towards his son. Qin Nan was gravely wounded. Seeing his son crushed beneath the rocks, the old man's body trembled violently. He then collapsed amid the smoke and dust, using his last breath to tell his son, "You must hold on." Receiving no answer, he believed his son had already passed. A burning desire for revenge propelled him toward Can Pha. He staggered to his feet, his face a mask of pure killing intent. In a fit of pure rage, he raised his fist and threw a punch straight at Can Pha's face. As he threw the punch, he screamed, "Die for me!" Seeing the old man, who was already at death's door, try to fight him, Can Pha didn't even show a hint of respect, easily blocking the punch with one hand. So noisy. With a flick of his wrist, he twisted the old man's arm until it coiled like a spring. The man screamed in agony. But for the giant, that wasn't enough torture. He raised his leg and delivered a heaven-shattering kick to the old man's face, sending him flying 4 miles. Then, he hurled a blade straight at him. With terrifying speed, the blade instantly pierced through his stomach, his eyes widening in disbelief before he even knew what happened. Blood gushed endlessly from his wound as he slowly collapsed to the ground. Over on the other side, though on the brink of death himself, the main character saw his father ruthlessly impaled and screamed in horror, "Father!" Memories of his father began to flood his mind. "My son has great potential. The future of our Qin family rests on your shoulders." Then, the day his father sent him off to the great Yan sect. "Father, why are you crying like an old man? You're old now. Don't cry." And the time he set off for the western regions. "I, Qin Nan, have one mission, to travel to the western regions and find my father and the people of the Qin clan." As the memories surfaced, he called out subconsciously, "Father, ... Father." He remembered his father trying to set him up with Lai. "You see, my son and you are of a similar age. It must be fate that you've met. He has his flaws, but his character's good. Why don't you consider it? How about the 2 of you get married?" Then, through some incredible spiritual force, he slowly rose to his feet, tears streaming down his face. Suddenly, a terrifying power erupted from his body. A golden light enveloped him completely as he screamed, "Father!" His eyes turned pure white, his pupils vanishing completely. He roared the name of his technique, True Dragon Rebirth, Nirvana Reincarnation. Seeing this, the ancestor instantly recognized it. This is the Asura's berserk state. Worried, the ancestor reached out to him. "Qin Nan, wake up. This state you're in is dangerous." But by now, he couldn't hear a thing. His mind was consumed by rage as he gripped the heaven-burning sword. he tightened his hold on the blade and charged straight for Can Pha. Seeing this, the villain wasn't afraid at all, but instead grew excited. All this immense power, the Asura Bloodline, will provide it for me. With that, he leaped forward to meet the charge. Once I possess it, there will be nothing left in this world for me to fear. He lunged, swinging his sword straight for Qin Nan's head, shouting, Die! But he was facing a different man now. His power had been magnified 10,000 times over. Without even trying to dodge, he calmly and effortlessly raised his heaven sword. The blow was stopped dead in its tracks, shocking the villain to his very core. Then Qin Nan opened his mouth and let out a world-shaking roar right in his face. The immediate blast of power sent Can Pha and his blade flying back several meters. His face was now a mask of pure ferocity. He glared at his foe as if he wanted to eat him alive, an endless power surging through his body. He swung his sword and rushed forward, unleashing a furious barrage of strikes at Can Pha, forcing him to clench every muscle. Sweat pouring down like rain just to withstand the assault. Damn it! What is this terrifying strength? He could block the attacks, but his blade had its limits. Unable to endure any more, it began to crack before shattering into pieces. Seeing his trusty weapon about to be destroyed, his face went pale, his eyes widened in horror, and his jaw dropped. Ready to turn tail and run home to his mother. Faster than a flash, Qin Nan swung his heaven sword. The enemy's blade instantly disintegrated, and the slash passed right through Can Pha. Seeing his precious weapon destroyed so easily, he was filled with absolute fury. A black aura erupted from his body, transforming him into a gigantic figure with blood-red eyes. Baring his fangs and growling, he glared back at Qin Nan, screaming, "Ah, I will kill you." With that, he charged forward again, aiming to land a few more punches to his gut. He screamed as he charged, "Die! Die! Die! Die!" In response, Qin Nan raised his heaven sword to defend, but it seemed blocking was not the best option. He immediately switched to evasion. A simple sidestep caused Can Pha's punch to miss, sending his fist straight into the cliff wall. That single punch created a massive explosion. The wall cracked apart, sending rock and dust flying everywhere. After the dust settled, a huge, tunnel-like hole was left where his fist had landed. After throwing that punch, he shrank back to his normal size and turned to face Qin Nan. The two stared each other down, preparing for the final battle. Though smaller, he still had tricks up his sleeve, rushing forward with his hands enveloped in dark energy. "Qin Nan, this is where you die." And yet, Qin Nan didn't dodge. He closed his eyes, letting the punch fly straight at him, as if testing the durability of his new operating system. The punch landed squarely on his face, sending him skidding back a great distance, forcing him to use a technique just to break, seeing his boy suddenly acting reckless, with more guts than brains. The ancestor frowned in alarm. Qin Nan's killing intent surged, his eyes flashing with a blue light. "Qin Nan, stop. If you continue like this, your mind will be consumed by rage and hatred. You'll become an inhuman, killing machine." Despite the ancestor's desperate pleas, he was now completely lost in a frenzy, unable to hear anything, growling as he gripped his heaven sword and charged at Can Pha. He then unleashed countless, loving slashes at his opponent. One strike, two strikes, forcing the villain to use all his life force just to dodge, weaving left and right in a dramatic, high-stakes chase. Frustrated that his attacks weren't connecting, Qin Nan roared in anger. The ancestor watched in horror, breaking out in a cold sweat. This kid's sword. It seems to be getting faster. Each of his slashes grew quicker than the last, until Can Pha couldn't react in time and took a direct hit. Blood spraying everywhere. He cried out in pain. "How is this possible? Your sword arts could never harm me. Could never harm me." ... Qin Nan's face remained utterly emotionless, his eyes stark white. He opened his mouth and screamed, unleashing a continuous chain of attacks, moving at the speed of light, invisible to the naked eye. All that remained were streaks of golden light surrounding Can Pha's body. After a moment, he stopped. As for Can Pha, after struggling to dodge the onslaught, his body was now covered in wounds. leaving him panting for breath. Huff, ... puff, ... As for our hero, the pupils had returned to his eyes. He coldly pointed his sword at the villain. Da! Just when it seemed his role was over, the villain burst out laughing. Hey, 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 hey! Do you really think you've won? You are far too naive. With that, he resorted to dirty tricks, shoving our hero into the abyss below. He never imagined his foe could be so treacherous. Caught off guard, all he could do was glare with pure contempt. From above, the man watched his free fall with a triumphant laugh. Dot! Dot! Ha ha! He sneered, reveling in his despicable trick. I am the king of this vast desert. No one can ever defeat me! Once Qin Nan is dead, I'll send my men down to retrieve his corpse. That bloodline will finally be mine. But down below, having heard enough of his worthless monologue, Qin Nan launched the heaven-burning sword straight back up, aiming directly at the fool's position. The villain, assuming him dead, had dropped his guard completely. The blade found its mark, sinking deep into his neck. Blood erupted like a fountain as his face went pale with shock. He couldn't comprehend what was happening. With blood pouring from his wound, he teetered on the edge of the cliff, uttering in disbelief, This, ... This cannot be. And with that, he too tumbled into the abyss, joining our hero. They both slammed into the bottom of the ravine, sending up a massive cloud of dust. At that moment, Can Pha lay motionless, his journey to the ancestors complete. But our hero was still clinging to life. He reached out a trembling hand, whispering, Father. Then, he too began to lose consciousness. His eyelids grew heavy, and his world faded into absolute darkness. A long time later, he finally staggered back to his senses. Clutching his pounding head, he wondered, Where? ... Where am I? Then it all came flooding back. That's right. I remember now. I was pushed into the Black Dragon Fissure Valley by I fell to the very bottom of this ravine. He turned to Can Pha's remains, saying, I remember. As I was falling, I threw my heaven-burning sword and finished Can Pha. At that moment, the old ancestor beside him sighed in relief. He smiled. Kid, you actually survived that fall. You truly have a tenacious life. Hearing this, he shot back, listening to your tone. It sounds like you're disappointed. I'm still alive. The old ancestor placed his hands on his stomach. Of course not. I'm merely reminding you just how deep this Black Dragon Fissure Valley truly is. Our hero then tilted his head back, gazing at the sky above. It was completely shrouded in darkness. There was no visible way out. He raised his hand to the sky, like a lost soul searching for a path. The old ancestor offered a piece of advice. You could try flying up to sea. Upon hearing that, he instantly took to the air. But at that very moment, several bolts of lightning rained down from above. As he neared the lightning, he froze mid-air before he could even react, with no way to escape. A bolt struck him directly. He crashed back to the ground amidst a cloud of dust and smoke. Yet, thanks to the main character's luck, he was still as tough as ever. After being battered by the lightning, he sat up and stared at the sky. Damn it! There's an impossibly thick layer of dark clouds up there. It's teeming with raw lightning energy. With my current strength, flying out is impossible. The old ancestor stroked his beard, deep in thought. This dark cloud formation appears to be a natural barrier, sealing the path from the valley floor. From what I can tell, without reaching the peak of the Spirit Division realm. Breaking through is simply impossible. His face covered in scratches, he said desperately, But I have to get back to my father. Hearing this, the old ancestor stated bluntly, Your father is already gone. What good would it do to go back now? Besides, even if you wanted to, with your current strength, at the 5th level of the Spirit Division realm, there is absolutely no way for you to force your way out. With a pleading, anxious expression, he argued, My father, I must lay him to rest properly. I have to take him back to South Region's Sword, Inquiry City. Seeing this, the old ancestor grew furious. He pointed a finger straight at his face and roared, Your clansmen are not dead. Yang Lai is not dead. They will surely give your father a proper burial. What you need to do now is stay at the bottom of this valley and cultivate yourself." His face filled with regret and self-blame. He whispered, If only I had been a little stronger, father wouldn't have died." The old ancestor looked at him and said, "In this world, strength represents everything. Only with overwhelming power can you protect those you care about." Those words struck him like a bolt of enlightenment. His resolve hardened. "All right, I understand. I will cultivate here." He clenched his fists tightly. "The moment I reach the peak of the Spirit Division realm, I will immediately find a way to leave this place." He took out the grain of sand, his expression filled with determination as a golden aura enveloped his body. He closed his eyes, standing beneath a Bodhi tree, while the old ancestor watched over him, saying, "If you can perfectly adapt to the extreme gravity of this place, then you should be able to reach the peak of the Spirit Division realm, correct?" Hearing this, the old ancestor continued to stroke his beard and explain, "That is correct. As I have said before, the gravity inside this single grain of sand is immense. Your body will undergo extreme tempering here. Once you can move freely within this space, with absolute ease, your power will undoubtedly reach the peak of the Spirit Division realm." Hearing this, he clenched his fists, his resolve unwavering. "All right, starting today, I will do everything I can to reach the peak of the Spirit Division realm as quickly as possible." Time flew by in a flash. 1 year had already passed. By now, his body had been forged to an incredible degree of toughness. His 8-pack ABS were clearly defined. Every punch and kick he threw during training was packed with overwhelming, refined power. The old ancestor had remained by his side throughout the entire year, watching over his training process. Seeing his remarkable progress, the old ancestor clapped and laughed in approval. "Excellent!" Pleased with the praise, a look of satisfaction crossed his face. He placed his hands on his hips and listened to the old ancestor's guidance. "Now, every fist you throw carries the roar of a dragon. Every palm strike has the ferocity of a tiger. This is the sign that your physical tempering has reached great completion." He then picked up his sword once more. Seeing this, the old ancestor raised a hand. "Show me your swordsmanship." He complied immediately, taking a stance to demonstrate his technique. He gripped the heavenly sword. Unleashing the Asura blade draw slash, the towering Bodhi tree was effortlessly cleaved in two by his single strike. Seeing this, the old ancestor smiled and stroked his beard. "The fact that you can so easily fell the Bodhi tree within this space proves that your strength has finally reached the peak of the Spirit Division realm." Hearing this, he spoke with conviction. "Then it is time to break through that black fog." With that, he exited the space within the grain of sand. He walked over to the dried skeleton of Can Pha, which was lying sprawled on the ground. Gazing upon it, he mused, "To think the self-proclaimed king of the desert would meet such a fate, with no one to even bury his remains." Then he raised his hand towards the skeleton, preparing to unleash an attack. He gathered spiritual energy into his palm. He would strike one final blow to avenge his father. "The blood debt for killing my father can never be repaid. I will shatter your very bones." After he pulverized the skeleton into dust, suddenly, a golden object appeared, shimmering with the brilliance of a star. The ancestor's eyes widened in shock as he turned to the main character. "This is the purest essence of wood attribute energy, the legendary Earth Bloodline, part of the 5 elements from the 10 great ancient bloodlines." Hearing this, the young man strode forward. He picked up the glowing orb, a smirk playing on his lips. As he spoke, "Can Pha, you schemed so hard for this. You wanted to steal my innate bloodline, but in the end, you just delivered it right into my hands." Instantly, he tightened his grip, crushing the orb containing the Earth Bloodline. A blinding light erupted from it, enveloping his entire body as he absorbed its power. But just as the process finished, divine lightning suddenly tore through the sky, crashing down with thunderous roars. Both he and the ancestor paled at the sight, as the old master shouted, "Careful, boy! The heavenly punishment has arrived." Raise your defenses now. Heeding the warning, he immediately summoned a protective barrier, just as streaks of lightning descended with terrifying speed. Despite the shield, the sheer power of the lightning was overwhelming, forcing beads of sweat from his brow. This is bad. Then, the defensive layer was instantly shattered by a bolt. With his guard broken, lightning slammed directly into his body, making him clutch his stomach and cough up blood. After taking several direct hits, his entire body went numb, and he collapsed to the ground, sweating profusely. He turned to the ancestor. Why did the heavenly tribulation suddenly descend? Stroking his beard, the ancestor spoke with a grim tone. You were already at the peak of the spirit-splitting realm. After absorbing that bloodline, you should have broken through to the mortal-breaking realm. The ancestor's gaze hardened. But as I've told you before, this Tianyan continent is bound by a powerful shackle. When a warrior is on the verge of breaking through, a heavenly punishment descends to stop them. The young man finally understood. So, that's it! This is the heavenly punishment. It didn't try to kill me, but it precisely, forced my power back down to the peak of the spirit-splitting realm. The ancestor sighed. This tribulation isn't meant to kill. Its main purpose is to suppress a warrior's cultivation, keeping them forever at the peak of the spirit-splitting realm. Look at the desert prophet in Can Pha. They endlessly pursued a breakthrough. But could never find the path. The young man frowned, asking, then how can I ever break through the shackles of the Tianyan continent, and reach the mortal-breaking realm? The ancestor stroked his beard. It's simple. Cultivate diligently and rely on your own enlightenment, your own understanding of martial arts and creation. No one else can help you. Hearing this, the young man put a hand to his chin. I see, I must train harder. One day, I will shatter the shackles of this world, he declared, looking up at the sky. I've been trapped in this Black Dragon Rift Valley for a whole year. It's time to get out. With that, he shot straight up, charging toward the dense storm clouds above. In a flash, he pierced through the dark clouds. He finally set foot on solid ground again, gazing at the warm, orange light of the rising sun. After a year in the abyss, a sense of wonder washed over him as he chuckled. I once found the desert scenery unbearable, but now, seeing the sun rise over this vast wasteland has a special kind of beauty. As he was enjoying the serene moment, a voice called out from a distance, Qin Nan. Hearing his name, he immediately turned his head. It was Lian Lai. Her face was a mix of shock and pure joy, her eyes welling up with tears. You're alive. Seeing her, he offered a gentle smile. I made it back. I'm sorry for making you worry. In the next moment, Lian Lai rushed forward, throwing her arms around him after a long, painful wait. She broke down, overwhelmed with happiness, leaving him a bit stunned, unsure of what to do. I finally got to see you again. He looked at her, his face flushing slightly as he smiled. It's been a year. Why are you still here? At his question, her tears started to fall again as she spoke with concern. Everyone thought you had fallen. They even erected a tombstone for you here. Their eyes met, and she continued, but I always believed you weren't dead. He was taken aback, a single drop of sweat rolling down his cheek. You waited here for a whole year? She looked at him firmly. Ever since you fell into the Black Dragon Rift Valley. I've been waiting in this Black Dragon City. During this time, my tribe and the people of the Qin family also came to Black Dragon City. He looked at her, filled with guilt. I've troubled everyone. Where's my father? Lian Lai's expression grew serious. We found a cellar in Black Dragon City. We arranged for your father to be placed there. We even gathered some ice shards to preserve your father's body. Hearing this, he reached out and gently patted her head in gratitude, causing her to blush. Thank you for your kindness. He then extended his hand towards her. Take me to see my father. Inside Black Dragon City, the two were now walking through the streets. They saw people everywhere, carrying wood, fortifying the city. A young man carrying logs on his shoulders saw him and smiled brightly. Young Master. Soon, a crowd gathered around them. Young Master Qin, you're alive. He smiled and waved his hand. Though I fell into the Black Dragon Rift Valley, I was fortunate to survive. I apologize for making you all worry. He then turned back to her. Lian Lai, why is everyone armed? Is there an external enemy? She immediately answered him. During this past year, because the chieftain of the Black Crow tribe fell into the valley with you, their tribe was left without a leader and quickly fell into chaos. She placed a hand on her chin, thinking. However, some of their remnant forces gathered together. They chose a new leader named Su. Hearing this, he declared decisively, Can Pha is dead. I will make these remnants pay for their actions. But she sighed heavily. They want to reclaim Black Dragon City. They've clashed with us many times this year. Their combat power is strangely... And a group of heretical beings has appeared among their ranks. We've lost many of our tribesmen. Hearing this, he clenched his fists tightly. Heretical beings, he thought to himself. It seems Zuo Zan's power has grown even stronger. Soon after, they arrived at the place where his father's body was kept. Your father's body is being stored here. He looked at his father's remains, his heart filled with sorrow and regret. He walked closer, placing a hand on the coffin. Father, he called out, his voice thick with emotion. I've returned. I'll take you back to Sword Inquiring City. He then announced loudly, Lian Lai, give me half a month. I will take my father and our people back to the southern domain. After that, I will return to deal with the remnants of the Black Crow tribe. She looked at him with resolve. All right, I'll be waiting for you. The next day, he and the tribesmen, each riding a camel, began their journey back to Sword Inquiring City. Tribesmen, we're heading home to Sword Inquiring City. His people cheered in response. Yes. At last, they could return. After half a month, the group finally reached the city lord's manor in Wenjian City. A guard rushed in to report. City Lord, the Qin clan has returned. Hearing this, the city lord, who was reading, was overcome with joy. He shot to his feet, tossing his book aside, and exclaimed, What? Quickly, come with me to welcome them. Meanwhile, Qin Nan and his people had already arrived at the main gate. The old city lord and two others hurried out. Old friend, you've returned. Upon seeing the city lord, Qin Nan immediately clasped his hands in respect. Uncle Ning, the old man approached, clapping him on the shoulder with a laugh. It's been too long. Qin Nan, you've grown stronger again. Not bad. Not bad at all. But then he noticed someone was missing. He asked, Wait, where is your father? Why didn't he return with you? Qin Nan hesitated, his brow furrowing. Father, he has passed away. The words struck the city lord like lightning. What did you say? Later, they all returned to the Qin clan estate. Inside the main hall, Qin Nan and the old city lord stood before a coffin. Qin Nan looked at it with a heavy heart. He told the city lord, This is my father's coffin. He's inside. The city lord stepped closer, his face etched with sorrow and pain as he looked inside. Old friend, how could you just leave like this? What about our promise to become in? He couldn't hold back any longer, collapsing beside the coffin as tears streamed down his face. In this entire city, you were the only one I could truly speak my heart to. Now that you're gone, what am I supposed to do? Seeing this, Qin Nan anxiously rushed to the weeping old man's side. Uncle Ning, father mentioned you to me many times. He said you were his greatest brother. Please, Uncle Ning, don't be so sad. The old man looked up, tears still flowing freely. Oh, you old fool. How could you just die like that? Unsure of what else to do, Qin Nan could only let out a heavy sigh. After a while, the two sat together over tea. Qin Nan, with your father gone, the Qin clan is now yours to lead. Qin Nan raised a hand to his chin, deep in thought. I know, but I am consumed by the pursuit of cultivation. If I get entangled in the clan's affairs, I fear I won't be able to bear such a heavy responsibility." Hearing this, the city lord was startled. "Then, what is your plan?" Qin Nan replied, "I believe I will let the elders manage things for now. I must continue my training and find an elixir that can bring my father back to life." The city lord paled at his words. A resurrection elixir? He stared at Qin Nan. Such things only exist in legends. How could you possibly find one? Qin Nan turned sharply towards him. "Do you know the state preceptor Wang Zhu, who once served in the great Zhu kingdom?" The lord immediately answered, "I do." He was the one who refined the so-called longevity pills, bewitching the emperor and causing the great Zhu kingdom's power to decline. Qin Nan, holding a small object, declared, "I obtained a fragment of the longevity pill's formula from him. It details the method for refining the pill. I believe if a longevity pill can exist in this world, then a resurrection pill must also be real." Hearing this, the old man closed his eyes and sighed. This is ultimately just a fantasy. He then stood up. "All right, I will not disturb you any longer. How you manage the Qin clan is for you to decide. But if you ever need help, do not hesitate to ask me." Qin Nan immediately clasped his hands in thanks. "Many thanks, Uncle Ning." As the city lord's figure departed, the ancestor slowly materialized beside him. "Kid, let me tell you, this resurrection pill is no fantasy. It truly exists." At these words, Qin Nan's eyes lit up as he turned to the ancestor. "Really?" The ancestor stroked his beard. "However, it doesn't exist on the Tianyan continent, but in the God realm." Qin Nan's face filled with confusion as he scratched his head. "The God realm." The ancestor continued his explanation. "Indeed. Only those who break through the mortal realm and reach the God realm are worthy of ascending." Then, he added another layer to the revelation. "In the God realm, anything is possible, while a resurrection pill itself may not exist. Double quotes. ... Any healing elixir from the God realm, when used on a mortal from the Tianyan continent, would have the power to bring them back from the dead." Qin Nan's expression grew serious. "Which means, only by gathering all 10 of the Tianyan continent's ancient bloodlines can I break through the mortal realm to reach the God realm, ... and ascend to the God realm to find the elixir that can save my father." "Correct. The most urgent task now is to find all the ancient bloodlines and absorb them into your body, to obtain the power of the ancient gods." The ancestor finished. Qin Nan looked at him again. "But these bloodlines are incredibly hard to find. How should I even begin?" The ancestor then revealed a world-shaking secret about the 10 ancient bloodlines. It turned out their locations were not random at all. The Earth's attribute bloodline was located in the western region, the water attribute in the eastern region, the wood attribute in the southern region, and the fire attribute in the central godly domain. Hearing this, Qin Nan grew puzzled. But then, why did the wood attribute bloodline from the southern region appear in the west? The ancestor then recounted a tragic tale from a bygone era. He spoke of a legendary figure. "It was all because of that old man, the pill ancestor. 10,000 years ago, within the Wuang Mountains, he paid the ultimate price. Double quotes, ... sacrificing his life to stop the evil venerable from destroying the world. After he fell, his pure wood attribute bloodline and our Asura bloodline, double quotes, ... were both unintentionally left behind in the western region. The Asura bloodline was luckily found by the descendants of the Qin clan, but the pill ancestors' wood bloodline, ... was not so fortunate. It has remained lost in the western region ever since." After listening to the long explanation, Qin Nan finally nodded in understanding. "So that's how it is." He cracked his knuckles, his gaze turning incredibly determined as he spoke. "It's perfect timing, since Ning Ruyun has gone to the northern region to train. My next objective is the northern region, to find the gold attribute bloodline. But before that, I must go to the western region and deal with the remnants of the Kaye tribe. At that moment, a figure stepped into the hall. It was Qin Shooting, an elder of the Qin clan from the council hall. "Seeing Qin Nan's back," he asked. "Young master, you were looking for me?" Hearing the call, Qin Nan turned to give his orders. "I'll be making a trip to the western region for a while. You will manage the clan's affairs in my place, and perform the duties of the clan head." The elder dared not hesitate, bowing low immediately. "Yes, I will not fail the young master's expectations." He then clasped his hands respectfully again. "Young master, shall I have a carriage prepared for your journey to the western region?" Qin Nan was already near the main door. Hearing the offer, he simply glanced back and gave a short reply, "No need." As the words left his lips, his body transformed into a streak of light, shooting straight into the sky. The elder was left standing below, gazing up with immense pride. "With a young master like him, our Qin clan is destined for greatness." Not long after, Qin Nan descended upon Black Dragon City, but the sight that greeted him was beyond belief. He stared in horror at the inferno raging below. Was Black Dragon City engulfed in war? His worst fears were confirmed. Inside the city walls, the corrupted had evolved, some even sprouting demonic horns. A suffocating dark aura filled the air, thick with the screams of battle as blood painted the streets. Even Leet was locked in a desperate struggle with a frenzied foe. The fiend cackled maniacally. "You can't resist much longer. This city will soon belong to us." As if on cue, a brutal kick sent her crashing to the ground. The creature swaggered towards her, victory in its eyes. A condescending sneer twisted its lips. "An insect like you dares to block my path." Its hands morphed into razor-sharp claws as it lunged for Leet. Vicious fangs emerged, eager to tear her limb from limb. It roared with delight. Hey. Embrace the glory of the evil way." In that desperate moment, a flash of azure light pierced the darkness. Leet looked up just in time to see her attacker run through by a sword. As the fiend collapsed, Qin Nan stood before her, a heroic and reassuring figure. Though blood trickled from her lips, Leet's heart soared with relief. "Brother Qin Nan, you finally came." Qin Nan rushed to her side. "You're badly hurt." "Don't worry. I'll get you out of here." Without another word, he swept her into his arms and soared away from that living hell. The moment they landed, Leet was seized by a violent coughing fit. Seeing her state, Qin Nan produced a spirit pill, offering it with a gentle smile. "Rest here, for now. Leave everything else to me." She obediently took the pill, but as he turned to leave, she couldn't help but warn him. "You have to be careful. They've all been corrupted by evil." With his back to her, his confident posture spoke volumes. "Don't worry. Just leave it to me." His resolute words instantly put her mind at ease. Qin Nan had truly become her unshakable pillar of support. Back inside Black Dragon City, the chaos was spiraling completely out of control. Even Qin Nan was stunned. "I can't believe there are so many of them. Just how powerful has the evil lord become in the past year?" The din of battle raged on. With a heroic flourish, Qin Nan drew his blade. One swing, and a torrent of fire erupted. It was his devastating technique. The 8 desolations soared flame. The sacred fire instantly incinerated the corrupted horde. The survivors cried out in joy. "Look! It's young Master Qin! He's here!" Others breathed a sigh of relief. "This is wonderful. We're saved." Moving at blinding speed, Qin Nan dispatched one enemy after another with a single strike. The townspeople gathered, their voices rising in endless praise. Young Master Qin single-handedly destroyed Tsu's demonic army. It's a miracle. At that moment, he looked like a god of war descended to earth. With the battle over, Qin Nan swiftly took command. "All the corrupted soldiers have been eliminated. Tally the casualties. Tend the wounded and extinguish the fires. Tribal elders, mobilize your people now." His orders were followed without hesitation. "Yes, we'll do as young Master Qin commands." Once everything was settled, he returned to Leet's side, crossing his arms with a cool confidence. "They're all gone. Everyone in Black Dragon City is safe now. His words were followed by the sound of Leet Leet coughing weakly into her hand. Concern etched on his face. He moved closer. Your wounds haven't healed. You need more rest. But Leet Leet's mind was far from her own injuries. Her expression turned grim. The army that attacked today was just a fraction of Tu Su's forces. He will definitely send more. We must fortify our defenses. Qin Nan didn't hesitate for a second. That's exactly why I came to the western regions, to help you deal with Tu Su. What's his current cultivation level, and where is he? Leet Leet held nothing back. His power has reached the 7th level of the Soul Division realm. He's based in White Dragon City with his demonic army. Qin Nan gently helped her lie down, softly reassuring her. You need to focus on your recovery. I'm going to eliminate them now. But she couldn't rest, sitting up abruptly. Are you absolutely sure you don't need any help? A confident smile played on his lips. My power has reached the peak of the Soul Division realm. I'm on a completely different level than I was years ago. Tu Su is still stuck at the 7th level. It will only take a single strike to make him a ghost under my sword. He patted her shoulder, comforting her. Leet Leet, just focus on resting. Soon after, Qin Nan arrived at White Dragon City, only to find it shrouded in a heavy, sinister aura. The very ground was cracked and desolate. Qin Nan stroked his chin, deep in thought. The evil energy in this city is overwhelming. A vast number of people must have been corrupted. Deep within, a brown-haired man rallied his troops from a high perch. My demonic soldiers, there is glory in the path of evil. We have attained unimaginable power, but power alone is not enough. We need our own territory, our own fortress, to declare our supremacy. His eyes blazed with crimson light. He thrust his arm to the sky, roaring with conviction. The tribes of these western regions are pathetic ants. They have no right to occupy these great cities. We, the glorious evil tribe, shall replace them. All hail the evil lord. The crowd below erupted in a frenzied cheer. They raised their fists, chanting wildly. Replace them! Replace them! All hail the evil lord. Disgusted by the scene, Qin Nan descended from the heavens. A powerful wave of energy sent the corrupted followers flying. The leader above stared in shock, stammering, who are you? With a flick of his wrist, Qin Nan's sword cut down several minions in an instant. He declared with cold authority, I'm the one who's come to take your worthless life. The name Qin Nan sent a jolt of terror through the leader. Quick! Stop him! He shrieked. The demonic horde obeyed instantly, charging towards their doom. But Qin Nan merely smirked in disdain. You are the true insects. As he spoke, flames erupted from his blade, incinerating the mob. This was his Asura blade slash. In a single moment, the entire horde lay defeated behind him. The leader's face went pale with terror. How can this be? How has Qin Nan's power grown so terrifying in just a single year? With an unhurried grace, Qin Nan ascended the steps, slowly closing the distance. Soon, he stood right before him and asked with ice in his voice, Are you the current leader of the Black Fang remnants? The man trembled in fear, stammering, "Y.S. That's right." A thought raced through his mind. Could it be? Did this Qin Nan fall into the Black Dragon Chasm? Did he absorb the evil key from the chasm and fall to the dark path as well? Is he here to pledge his allegiance to me? At this thought, the man's confidence and arrogance suddenly returned. He let out a sinister chuckle. Oh, hey, so that's how it is. No wonder his power grew so strong. It seems he has already embraced the glory of the evil path. He crossed his arms, putting on a superior air. Qin Nan, I know why you've come, but joining my ranks won't be that easy. You must first prove your worth with a great deed. Only then will I consider it. He pointed towards Black Dragon City. Let's do this. I'll give you a chance. We've been trying to conquer Black Dragon City, but to no avail. Countless brothers have been injured or lost their lives. Help me take it, and I will allow you to join me. You will become a glorious evil general under my command. What do you say? Huh. Qin Nan just silently swung his sword, thinking to himself, did embracing the evil path turn this man into a complete moron? Seeing the sword at his neck, the man still felt no fear, even asking, what do you think you're doing? Do you still want to join me or not? Huh? A single strike pierced through his body without a moment's hesitation. He only had time to let out a surprised gasp. Watching the corpse topple to the ground, Qin Nan said coldly, much quieter now. A stream of green, evil ki escaped from the man's body, leaving behind an ordinary corpse. The resentful energy flew into the sky, coalescing into a giant, menacing eye. Two massive, clawed hands materialized as a booming voice echoed, "Ha! So it's you again." The evil sovereign gazed down at Qin Nan, marveling at his progress. In just 1 year, you've reached the peak of the Soul Division realm. It seems your innate talent, Qin Nan, is truly a gift from the heavens. This makes me incredibly excited. The entity drifted closer, his voice dripping with temptation. If you were to also embrace the evil path, just how terrifying would your power become? Qin Nan's face hardened. When my sword pierces your throat, you'll know exactly how terrifying I can be. The evil sovereign only grew more intrigued. It's been a year, and your silver tongue has improved quite a bit. Let me tell you something. That little girl of yours from Sword Inquiry City is cultivating in the northern region. And by pure coincidence, my clone also happens to be in the northern region, searching for a metal attribute bloodline. At the mention of that girl, Qin Nan froze for a split second. The entity continued to taunt him. Now, take a guess. What was the most unexpected discovery I made? Qin Nan's grip on his sword tightened, his patience wearing thin. Enough with the nonsense. What are you trying to say? The giant eye replied with sadistic glee. That little girl of yours carries within her one of the 10 great ancient bloodlines. The heaven-piercing bloodline. Qin Nan was stunned, blurting out the question in utter shock. What did you say? She's also an inheritor of an ancient bloodline. The evil sovereign roared with triumphant laughter. That's right. It's just a pity her cultivation isn't nearly as high as yours. Right at this very moment, she is likely locked in a desperate battle with my clone. Haha. Qin Nan trembled with rage, his sword aimed straight at the evil sovereign, as he growled, "If you dare to harm a single hair on her head, I swear I will obliterate your very soul." The eye glared back, its voice filled with contempt. "Empty threats are useless. You can speak of my demise when you've finally earned the right to face me. After all, I have already gathered 4 of the ancient bloodlines." At that same moment, from a halo of ethereal light, the ancestor appeared once more. He calmly observed, "To think the evil sovereign has already obtained 4 ancient bloodlines. No wonder his power has grown so rapidly this past year. The number of people who have fallen to the evil path is staggering." Qin Nan turned in surprise. "Ancestor!" The ancestor advised him gently. "Qin Nan, the most urgent task now is to get to the northern region. You must stop the evil sovereign's clone from seizing the heaven-piercing bloodline from Lingru." Hearing this, Qin Nan didn't hesitate, unleashing a strike that shattered the evil sovereign's image. Before fading away, the entity left behind one final, cryptic message. HMPH. "You haven't changed at all, Qin Nan. We'll meet again at Mount Wuwang." Hearing that name, the ancestor's eyes widened in recognition. Mount Wuwang. That is the place where the elixir ancestor and I fought our great battle against the evil sovereign. If his power has grown this much, he may be close to restoring his physical body. Qin Nan was confused. The evil sovereign is just like you. He's a spiritual entity. Can he truly regain a physical form? The ancestor quickly explained. He can, but the price is immense. And that price is a massive amount of life force harvested from the living. The evil sovereign is spreading his wicked doctrine across the entire continent. Once a living person falls to the evil path, their life force is siphoned away by him. The Western region alone already has a huge number of followers, and across the entire Tianyan continent, those who have fallen are constantly feeding him their life force. It's now only a matter of time before he recovers his body. If we let him continue, the great calamity that plunged the world into chaos 10,000 years ago will happen all over again. Your clan, the entire Great Wei and Great Zhou dynasties, the whole Tianyan continent, all will face annihilation. Thinking of this, Qin Nan's expression grew grim. It seems stopping the evil sovereign cannot wait. The ancestor stroked his white beard. The crisis in the western region is resolved for now. You must depart for the northern region immediately. Qin Nan nodded in agreement. Understood, but before I go, I need to say goodbye to Yang Lili. Under the setting sun, Qin Nan and Lili stood in silence atop the city walls. Lili was the first to break the silence. I'm sorry. I can't go to the northern region with you. My tribe is still here. They need me to protect them. Qin Nan offered a gentle smile. Don't worry about it. Protecting your people has always been the most important duty. In that case, wasn't Qin Nan's journey to the northern region also to protect his own? He gazed up at the heavens, his voice steady. No. This time, I'm fighting to protect everyone on this continent. Lili stared, stunned. The entire continent. So this was the grand ambition hidden within Qin Nan's heart. With no more time to waste, Qin Nan prepared to depart. All right. Time is short. I must leave now. If you run into any trouble, you can ask my little brother for help. Lili seemed to draw a blank, asking, Your little brother. Qin Nan nodded, pointing towards a beetle in the distance. Yes! That one over there. The beetle, hearing its name, puffed out its chest with a toothy grin and declared proudly, I will remember the boss's words and protect everything well. In the frigid western region, a land of biting cold, a group clad in thick coats rode peacefully onward. Suddenly, a band of vicious robbers burst from the shadows, their blades drawn. The leader roared, Men, kill them all, and take everything. The clash of steel and cries of pain filled the air. A bandit spotted a woman desperately trying to flee and sneered, You filthy woman, you dare try to run. Shivering from the cold, she clutched a child in her arms, trying to save her baby's life, but the bandit showed no mercy. He pursued her with his sword, laughing maniacally. Let's see where you can run now. Heh. In a flash, the woman found herself at the edge of a cliff. With her back to the abyss, the bandits closed in. Cackling, nowhere left to run. Let's see you escape this. She gritted her teeth, tears welling in her eyes, and whispered, My husband, I'm so sorry. Then, clutching her child tightly, she leaped into the chasm without hesitation. Her last cry echoed through the air. Farewell. One of the bandits clicked his tongue in mock pity. TSK. What a shame. She had such a beautiful face. Another one chimed in. We were going to let the brothers have some fun. What a waste. Another bandit stepped forward. What's there to regret? Boss, the northern region is full of women. We'll just grab a few more later. The leader burst into laughter. Ha ha ha! You're right! Let's go. Time to hunt for more prizes. But just as their laughter filled the air, a cold voice sliced through the wind. A lone swordsman was approaching, forcing the innocent, slaughtering the weak, treating human lives like dirt. Qin Nan appeared, his face a storm of fury. Rage blazed in his eyes as he spat out two words. You deserve death. A scar-faced bandit stepped forward. Who are you, kid, to meddle in the affairs of our fierce ghost gang? Qin Nan just smirked. Fierce ghost gang. Never heard of it. The taunt hit its mark. The bandit's face twisted with rage. You insolent brat, you dare draw your sword. Die. Instantly, their bodies began to transform. A dark aura erupted from them. What were once men were now twisted into demonic fiends. Qin Nan's jaw tightened. HMPH. More of those tainted ones. The enraged bandit roared the command. Kill him! The horde of demons lunged forward with bared fangs. But Qin Nan remained calm, a look of contempt on his face. A swarm of ants. He drew his sword. A single flash of light swept past them, and the demons shrieked in agony. "R!" The leader stared in utter disbelief. How is this possible? After their transformation, their power had clearly reached the first level of the Soul Division realm. How could he not even block a single one of this brat's attacks? While he was still reeling, Qin Nan pressed his blade to the leader's chest. "So, do you want to live?" Terror flooded the leader's face as he scrambled to his knees, begging, Yes, I do. Please, spare my life. I'll do anything you say." Qin Nan didn't hesitate. "Then take me to your fierce ghost gang's camp." Now, a simple bandit fortress that could gather so many tainted ones. This had to be connected to the evil lord's clone. The man gritted his teeth and agreed. "Fine. I'll take you right now." But inwardly, he was sneering. "You fool! You're walking right into Hell's Gates. Once you're in our camp, even if you're stronger than you look, ... my big brother will crush you with ease." The so-called fierce ghost camp was, in reality, a massive fortress, looking no different from a capital city. The guards high on the walls quickly spotted something wrong. Qin Nan wasn't following Dao Ba. He had the man in a tight grip. One look was all it took to see he was a prisoner. A guard on the wall shouted frantically, "Quick, go inform the second chief. Dao Ba has been captured." At that moment, Dao Ba leaned in, whispering in Qin Nan's ear, "Boss, this is the fierce ghost camp." His voice dripped with malicious glee. "You little punk. You've walked right into my camp. Even if you had 3 heads and 6 arms, you're dead meat now." But Qin Nan showed no fear. "Bumin, who is the leader here? Get him out here to see me." Just then, a massive figure with wild green hair stepped forward, addressed by his men as the second chief. He stood on the wall, pointing down with utter arrogance. "And which worthless bug are you to dare capture my men? It seems you don't know how the word death is written, do you?" Below, Dao Ba cried out desperately, Second chief, save me." The chief just scowled in disgust. "You useless piece of trash. What good are you to me now?" He pointed down and roared, "Archers, fire!" A storm of arrows rained down from above. They didn't even care that their own man was in the line of fire. Qin Nan swiftly created a shield to block the volley. Dao Ba could only stare in horror. "No! No!" In the next second, countless arrows pierced his body. He let out a final, agonizing scream and collapsed. Qin Nan smirked confidently. "This Earth Attribute shield is really quite useful." High above, the second chief's eyes went wide with shock as he screamed, "This is impossible." He quickly turned to flee. "I have to tell, big brother." But from below, Qin Nan swung his sword, and a signature wave of energy shot forth like a comet, uprooting Asura / In an instant, a huge section of the fortress wall crumbled to dust. Several men who couldn't react in time fell with the ruble. The beam of light struck the second chief, who only had time for a single cry before his blood painted the sky. Meanwhile, in the main hall of the fierce ghost fortress, a bearded man sat upon a lavish throne like a king. A soldier burst in, reporting frantically, "First chief, someone is attacking the camp. The second chief has been killed." The man on the throne shot to his feet, his hands clenching into fists. "How can this be?" he roared. "My second brother was invincible." A woman draped in furs, clutching a massive axe, boldly declared, "First brother, let me be the one to teach him a lesson and avenge second brother." Moments later, she led a war party to confront Qin Nan. Standing before the fortress gates, Qin Nan raised his sword into a ready stance. A confident smirk touched his lips. "Is this the best you can muster?" His expression hardened, his aura surging like a tidal wave. On closer inspection, he possessed a sharp, rugged hand. The moment the woman laid eyes on Qin Nan, she was utterly captivated, thinking to herself that this young man was far too handsome. Now this was a man worthy of being her husband. In an instant, she forgot her furious vow to avenge her second-in-command just moments ago, striking a seductive pose. The woman rested one hand on her chin. Young man, you're certainly easy on the eyes. If you surrender and become my husband right now, I might convince my brother to spare your life. Qin Nan remained completely unfazed. His reply as cold as steel. Women only serve to slow down the speed of my sword. Hearing this, she covered her mouth and chuckled. What a shame. Such a handsome face, so eager to find its own grave. With that, she tightened her grip on the axe, pouring her spiritual energy into the weapon. The woman let out a fierce cry as tendrils of pink aura erupted from the massive blade. The remaining bandits roared in support. The third mistress's power is supreme. Kill that brat! Slay him. But Qin Nan recognized her martial art. A spark of interest lit his eyes as he smiled. The six-layered phantom body technique. Interesting. In the blink of an eye, the woman leaped high into the air, bringing her axe crashing down towards Qin Nan. He deftly dodged the attack. The axe slammed into the ground, sending earth and stone flying. The woman was stunned. How did he manage to evade that? But Qin Nan had already appeared behind her. With a single, fluid slash of his sword, blood sprayed into the air. Her eyes widened in a final scream. The others stared in absolute terror. How's this possible? The second and third masters. He killed them both! The third mistress's body fell to the cold earth, her blood pooling around her. The remaining bandits scrambled in panic. Quickly! Go report to the chief! At that moment, the chief was still casually pouring wine down his throat, completely oblivious to the chaos. A soldier burst in, shouting, "The third mistress has been killed by that brat." The chief's face contorted with rage. He slammed his bowl to the ground, shattering it into 1,000 pieces. "What did you say?" he roared. Then, he pulled a strange object from within his robes. Staring at it, he sent a message. "Hongyan, Elder, the fierce ghost fortress is under attack. My second brother and third sister have both been slain. I need reinforcements." He then crushed the object in his hand, and from the cracks, a beam of purple light shot out. The light pierced through the roof, soaring straight into the heavens. A voice boomed. "Sword? Come?" A soldier quickly tossed him a blade, which the chief caught without even looking. He raised the sword, his eyes bloodshot with raw fury. "Today, I will tear you into 100 pieces." But strangely, the moment he finished speaking, the soldier who had just handed him the sword let out a blood-curdling scream, blood erupting from his chest as he died on the spot. Qin Nan had appeared as if from thin air. He now stood in the center of the chief's main hall. His presence so powerful, it was like he had his own halo. He spoke with a commanding voice. "There's no need for you to come find me." Gritting his teeth, he continued, "I've already come for you." The chief had completely succumbed to demonic transformation. His eyes glowed red, horns sprouted from his head, and veins bulged on his forehead. He bellowed, "You came at the perfect time. You've come here to die!" In a flash, his body swelled in size, and a horrifying dark purple demonic ki enveloped him. Seeing this, Qin Nan just grinned with satisfaction. Going straight into a demonic transformation. I do appreciate someone who gets right to the point. The chief lunged like a savage tiger, sword held high, roaring a single word. "Die!" His sword, seething with demonic energy, never even came close to Qin Nan, who sidestepped it with ease. But the chief was no amateur, immediately launching another strike. He continued to scream relentlessly, "Kill! Kill! Kill!" But it was useless. Qin Nan once again dodged the attack with insulting simplicity. He landed softly, balancing perfectly on the flat of the chief's own blade. He mocked him with a casual tone. "You're far too slow." "Is this really the only strength you have after transforming?" The chief recoiled in shock. "Impossible." Qin Nan landed back on the ground and made a mock proposal. "How about this? I'll stand perfectly still and let you have one free shot. Swing wherever you like." Hearing this, the chief exploded with rage, blood rushing to his head. "You brat? You dare look down on me. He channeled every last bit of demonic ki into his sword, aiming it straight for Qin Nan. I'll make you pay for your arrogance. Just as the blade was about to pierce Qin Nan's eye, he let out a cold snort. Neither fast nor slow. He raised his hand and casually shattered the demonic sword. The chief's blade disintegrated into fragments that clattered to the floor. He stared at his broken weapon, utterly speechless. This can't be happening. He looked at Qin Nan, his entire body trembling. I am the mighty chief of the fierce ghost fortress. How could I be defeated by a mere boy? He cried out in desperation. Elder Hung Young, save me! But as he turned to flee, a flash from Qin Nan's sword struck him. It severed the tendons in his legs, leaving him unable to move. Qin Nan slowly approached him. I'll give you one chance. Tell me, how did your ghost fortress become demonic? The chief scrambled to his knees. Just spare my life, and I'll tell you everything. I swear. Qin Nan's gaze grew heavy. I'll spare you. Now speak. The chief didn't dare hide a thing. He confessed everything. My fierce ghost fortress was originally just a small mountain stronghold in the myriad snow mountain range. We mostly just robbed travelers. But then we were discovered by the Netherworld sect. They offered to teach us the path of demonic transformation, giving a chief like me immense power. The strength of our fortress grew exponentially. More and more people flocked to join us, and we even gained the power to conquer entire cities. Qin Nan found this confusing. Why would a group like the Netherworld sect bother empowering you? The chief, prostrated on the cold ground, replied, the Netherworld sect's only demand was that we capture as many people as possible and force them to undergo the demonic transformation as well. Forget the entire northern region. Double quotes. In Pingdong City alone, nearly 80% of the population has been turned. It's all the work of the Netherworld sect. Hearing this, Qin Nan was horrified. What? 80%? At that moment, the ancestor's voice echoed in his mind, filled with worry. If this situation continues to develop, the evil sovereign will soon recover his physical body, and his power will be even greater than it was 10,000 years ago. Qin Nan clenched his fists, his teeth grinding. It's possible the evil sovereign's clone in this northern region is the Netherworld sect and Ning Ruyun. She was very likely captured by them. At this thought, he pressed his sword to the chief's throat, his voice menacing. Tell me now, where is the Netherworld sect? Suddenly, the chief began to laugh. A wild, maniacal cackle. Qin Nan roared in anger. What are you laughing at? The chief uttered a single, chilling phrase. They're already here. A triumphant sneer spread across his face. This time, your death is certain. High above, a halo of light tore through the clouds, revealing an old man on a massive lion, flanked by two imposing figures. The white-haired elder stroked his mustache, his voice booming with authority. Who down there dares to lay waste to my fierce ghost camp? Tan Nam, his blade still pressed against his captive's throat, looked up. I am eradicating the world of demonic cultivators. Does such a righteous act require a reason? The old ancestor's voice rang out in his mind, sensing the immense danger. This old man, his aura transcends the mortal coil. He's likely broken through the world's shackles to reach the transcendent realm. Even if he's only at the first level, the chasm between the divine soul and transcendent realms is insurmountable. His tone turned gravely serious. Tan Nam, you must be extremely cautious. But far from fear, Tan Nam felt a surge of pure excitement. How thrilling, he thought. I just reached the peak of the divine soul realm, and fate delivers a first-level transcendent expert right to my doorstep. The old man above frowned. The fierce ghost camp belongs to my Netherworld sect, a place for capturing mortals for our dark arts, and you, some insignificant whelp, destroyed it. Failing to kill you would be an insult to our sect's might, he roared. You insolent brat! Today, you will die! Hung Duong's palm began to expand to a monstrous size. The old ancestor cried out in alarm. The vast heaven palm. That's a Shuangre divine technique. Tan Nam, be on your guard. Tan Nam's senses screamed with danger. The sheer scale of that palm was immense. It looks like dodging is impossible. I can only take it head-on. The power of the transcendent realm is truly terrifying. With a deafening roar, a colossal shadow erupted from Tan Nam's back. It had 4 arms, a strange halo above its head, and it manifested a massive shield to intercept Hung Duong's attack. The elder's eyes lit up with greedy interest. The Asura Bloodline and the Earth Attribute Bloodline. ... 2 of the 10 great ancient bloodlines. What a delightful, unexpected harvest! Hung Duong's colossal palm crashed down onto Tan Nam's shield. He braced himself with all his might, but the force made him tremble uncontrollably as cracks began to spiderweb across the shield's surface. My Earth Guardian shield, renowned for its absolute defense, ... is being shattered. In an instant, Tan Nam was covered in wounds. He clutched his arm, a defiant smirk on his face. Is that all the power you can muster? Hung Duong laughed victoriously. Boy, do you finally understand the power of a transcendent master? This is beyond what any divine soul cultivator could ever hope to block. Now, surrender obediently. Follow me back to the sect. Offer up your 2 ancient bloodlines to our sect master, and perhaps I might even spare your life. You could even join our glorious demonic path and become one of us. Tan Nam wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, his eyes like steel. You want my bloodlines? You'll have to kill me to get them. Hung Duong's face twisted in rage. You refuse the easy way, so you'll take the hard one. I will make you beg for death. He barked in order to his subordinates, left and right protectors. Hear my command. Unleash the God-binding formation. The 2 men immediately complied, their hands weaving intricate seals. From the earth below, chains of pure spirit energy erupted, binding Tan Nam's legs in an unbreakable grip as the ground itself fractured. Hung Duong let out a triumphant roar. Once the God-binding formation is cast, not even the gods can escape. Then, he unleashed another attack, a devastating move meant to end Tan Nam's life. The old ancestor's voice screamed in his mind like a thunderclap. Tan Nam, get out of there, now! That single blade of energy is enough to extinguish your life. Bound tightly. Tan Nam could only manage a wry smile. I'd love to move, old ancestor, but can't you see I'm a little stuck at the moment? He spun his sword before him defensively. All I can do is rely on the Earth Guardian shield once more. But the old ancestor's voice was grim. Kid, your shield won't stop a full-powered blow from a transcendent master. You'll be crippled, if not killed outright. Hearing such a grim prediction, he could only muster a strained smile. That's a very kind reminder. Thank you. Suddenly, Tan Nam's gaze sharpened. It's here, from the blade of his sword. Another protective barrier materialized. But then, from out of nowhere, a mysterious power intercepted Hung Duong's technique with ease, deflecting it into a nearby mountain peak. The unfortunate cliffside instantly crumbled into dust. Enraged at having his finishing blow interrupted, Hung Duong spun around and snarled towards the source of the interference. Who dares interfere? Just then, 2 elegant figures descended from the sky, the leader's overwhelming aura palpable. Well, if it isn't the great Elder Hung Duong of the Netherworld sect. Have you fallen so low that you now spend your days bullying juniors? One of the protectors beside Hung Duong paled in recognition. That's Sect Master Lin Yuyet of the vast Moon Sect. Why would she be here personally? The other guard quickly added. And the girl beside her. Her cultivation level is on par with ours. Likely the 8th or 9th stage of the Divine Soul Realm. Aboard a spirit lion, Elder Hung Duong pointed a furious finger. Lin Yuyet, you'd best shut that filthy mouth of yours. The affairs of my Netherworld sect are no concern of yours. Now, get lost. The younger woman behind her. Lin Yuyet's companion looked down and instantly recognized the trapped figure Dong Nam, she cried out. Tan Nam's eyes widened in disbelief. Nuok Van, is that really you? In a flash, Nuok Van rushed down and threw her arms around him, her eyes welling up with tears. It's been over a year. I missed you so much. Tan Nam gently hugged her back. I know. I've missed you too. Lai Nuyet stood to the side, feigning disdain, but the blush creeping up her cheeks told a different story. Ooga! The nauseating stench of romance. Already fuming, Hong Duang's rage boiled over. He pointed directly at Lai Nuyet. You, Junia, Lai Nuyet. Did you not hear me? I said, get lost. Provoked, Lai Nuyet instantly went on the attack, planting her hands on her hips. You hideous old fossil. Can't you take a hint? Can't you see these two lovebirds are having a reunion? Don't you dare ruin the mood with your miserable, single-for-a-century face. I can practically smell the jealousy coming off you. Pushed to his absolute limit, Hong Duang could only stammer, you, you. Lai Nuyet seized the opportunity, pointing right in the elder's face. Me, what? You old coot! I am absolutely making this my business today, because that young man down there happens to be the man my disciple loves. Ning Ruyun has her eyes on him. That means he is under the protection of our Heo sect. You won't be taking him anywhere today. The old man was left speechless, his hands clenched into tight fists, burning with rage. But before he could recover, Liu flexed her power level. Let me show you your place. I have reached the second mortal breaking realm. You ugly beast, you're merely at the first, and you dare try to take someone from me. First, see if you're even worthy. Tell your Netherworld sect master to come find me himself. As for now, take your two elps and get out of my sight. One of the disciples hastily whispered to Hong Yang. Elder, the strength of that despicable pair down there is currently on par with ours, and your power level is lower than that terrifying woman. The truth is, we can't defeat them. He's right, Elder. Let's make a strategic retreat for now. We must consult with the sect master. Though filled with rage, Hong Yang swallowed his pride and turned to leave. Very well. We'll withdraw for now, but he couldn't leave without a final face-saving threat. Lai Nuyet. Just you wait. Let's hope you can withstand the full fury of our Netherworld sect. Lai Nuyet just scoffed at the threat with a dismissive wave, resorting to empty threats when you can't win. I've met countless cowards just like you. You're nothing special. Now, get lost. Crushed by the humiliation, the old elder coughed up a mouthful of blood. His disciples rushed to his side. Elder, please, calm your anger. Why waste your fury on a woman like her? Meanwhile, Lai Nuyet swiftly moved to Qin Nan and Ning Ruyun's side. Seeing her master, Ruyun quickly made the introductions. This is Lai Nuyet, the master of the Haoyu sect. She is also my esteemed master now. Qin Nan immediately bowed respectfully. Qin Nan pays his respects to Sect Master Lai. Thank you for taking care of Ruyun all this time. A smile graced Lai Nuyet's lips. You're a polite young man. Far better than those thugs from the Netherworld sect. It seems Ning Ruyun's judgment of you. What sound? The young man scratched his head, embarrassed. Haha, thank you for the generous praise, Sect Master. Ning Ruyun then stepped forward to ask a question. Butchanan, what brings you to the northern region? Don't tell me. You came all this way to find me. In truth, his entire journey to the northern region was for her. It all began after he dealt with the demonized clan leader in the west. A fragment of the evil lord's will appeared, revealing that Ruyun possesses the Heaven's Lane bloodline. It's one of the 10 great ancient bloodlines, and the evil lord's clone in the northern region is hunting for that exact power. He feared that very clone would capture her. So he braved the long journey to the northern region to protect her. His second reason was to eliminate the clone itself and prevent it from harming any more innocent lives. Ning Ruyun rested her chin on her hand, looking thoughtful. So, that's what happened. I've heard about this clone of the evil lord before. My master and I had a theory about it. We suspect the clone is none other than the master of the Netherworld sect, Ju Yu. Qin Nan was stunned. The Netherworld sect master, Ju. You. Are you certain? Lai Nu yet crossed her arms, her expression grim. We are 80 to 90% sure. While the Netherworld sect was always a demonic sect, in recent years, they have been nurturing vicious forces, like bandits and thugs, forcing common people onto the path of evil. The malevolent aura from these corrupted souls then feeds the Netherworld sect's power. What's more terrifying is that the Netherworld sect's influence has already infiltrated the two great nations of the northern region, even their royal courts. Their tendrils seem to be everywhere. A cold sweat broke out on Qin Nan's brow. He thought the western region was chaotic, but the northern region was a catastrophe waiting to happen. Lai Nu Yet's voice cut through the tension. Very well. There's no point discussing this out in the open. Why don't you return to the sect with us? We'll offer you our hospitality. From there, we can plan how to annihilate the Netherworld sect and its master. Hearing this, Qin Nan quickly regained his composure. That sounds like a plan. I will be in your care, Ning Ruyun asked shyly. But master ... Won't it be inconvenient to bring him back with us? Lai Nu Jet replied with a grand wave of her hand. As long as you don't mind, then I see no inconvenience at all. Rune's face lit up with joy as she grabbed Qin Nan's hand. Okay, then, let's go. With a whoosh, the three of them vanished into the clouds. In the blink of an eye, they appeared before the Haoyu Sex Gate. Lai Nu Yet conjured a shimmering portal of light. She turned and smiled at the young pair. Well, go on in. The moment Qin Nan stepped through the portal, a breathtaking panorama unfolded before his eyes. This was the Haoyu sect. But what made him truly flustered were the figures before him. What was this place? His face turned beet red, and his nose was on the verge of erupting. Why are they all female disciples? Watching them practice their sword forms, he could only think one thing. Eyes is this. ... Heaven. The old ancestor, seeing his descendant so easily captivated, had to intervene to set him straight. Qin Nan, you must learn some if your nose starts bleeding, you will bring nothing but shame to the Qin family name. Qin Nan immediately shot back. Old ancestor, look who's talking. How about you? Wipe that nosebleed of yours first. The old ancestor quickly averted his gaze. Breaking into a silent sweat, he nervously twirled his mustache. A transgression, a great transgression indeed. Seeing a strange man in their sect, the other disciples erupted in cheers. Wow, a man. A man has actually entered our Haoyu sect. This is so rare. I haven't seen a single man since I joined. So this is what a man looks like. What? A learning experience. He's so handsome. I wish he could be my boyfriend. Sensing the situation was getting out of hand, Ning Ruyan rushed to Qin Nan's side, grabbing his hand to stake her claim. Lai Nu Jet simply watched this unfold with a knowing smile. She quickly restored order. All right, everyone, back to your training. No more distractions. The disciples immediately complied, saluting respectfully. In a secluded courtyard, the three of them sat down at a stone table. Lai Nu Jet took a delicate sip of tea, continuing their earlier conversation. The Haoyu sect has never permitted men to enter its gates. If not for Ning Ruyan's sake, I would have made him spend the night on the mountain outside. Qin Nan studied her intently. It seems the sect master holds Ruyun in very high regard. Lai Nu Jet placed her cup down without a hint of embarrassment. But of course, Ning Ruyun possesses the Heaven Slayin bloodline. It is one of the 10 great ancient bloodlines, granting her unparalleled talent. Her affinity for lightning is especially astonishing. It is only natural that I would treasure such a disciple. Qin Nan rested his chin in his hand, deep in thought. According to the evil lord's clone, he is targeting Ruyun's heaven-slaying bloodline. And today, that elder from the Netherworld sect issued a clear threat. It seems they will make their move sooner rather than later. His gaze sharpened as he looked directly at Li Nujet. So, Sect Master Li Nujet, can the Hao Yu sect truly stand against the Netherworld sect? Li Nujet, however, was supremely confident. Rest assured, the disciples of my Hao Yu sect are numerous. Our sect's overall power is far greater than the Underworld sect's. Truth be told, they are simply no match for my vast moon sect. Forget them stealing Ning Runi's bloodline. I'm tempted to strike first and annihilate their entire sect myself. Ning Ruyun's eyes crinkled into a happy smile. He's right, Qin Nan. Our disciples despise the demonic path and have sworn to slay anyone who falls to darkness. The Underworld sect's doom is inevitable. Hearing this, a weight lifted from Qin Nan's shoulders. That's a relief. By the way, if you need to attack the Underworld sect, I will gladly lend my strength to eliminate you. Qin Nan gritted his teeth, a plan already forming in his mind. He had to obtain the metallic tribute bloodline from that man. He absolutely could not let him gather all 10 of the great ancient bloodlines. Hearing his proposal, Li Zu nodded, in agreement. Very well. For the time being, stay here in the vast moon sect and cultivate alongside Ning Ruyun. Right now, your most urgent task is to break through the heavenly shackles. Only by reaching the shattered mortal realm will you have the power to face Juyu. Otherwise, the gap between your spirit division realm and his realm, you simply stand no chance against him. Qin Nan bowed his head in gratitude. Thank you for your guidance, Sect Master. That night, the young couple, Qin Nan and Ning Ruyun, once again sat on the rooftop, gazing at the stars in a breathtakingly romantic scene. He looked at the girl beside him and said, Ruyun, I never imagined that in just over a year, you would also awaken an ancient bloodline. Ruyun cupped her blushing cheeks. Master Li, you once told me that this bloodline power is passed down from our family's ancestors. With each generation, the power weakens until it vanishes. But occasionally, a descendant of incredible talent appears, who not only avoids this weakening but perfectly inherits the ancestors' power. Instead, they receive a perfect inheritance. And you and I are both perfect inheritors of our ancestors' strength. Suddenly, the ancestor appeared. The girl is not wrong. Qin Nan, you are the only descendant in this generation to perfectly awaken the Jin family's Asura bloodline. He stroked his beard, laughing heartily. That is why you were able to awaken me from the heaven-splitting sword. If it had been anyone else from the Jin family, they would have lacked the qualifications to even try. Qin Nan scratched his head with a smile. So, does that make us the chosen ones of heaven? Ning Ruyun replied cheerfully. I'd say it's mostly our own hard work, combined with a little bit of talent. Suddenly, an earth-shattering explosion echoed from the distance, sending clouds of dust into the air. Ruyun shot to her feet in alarm. That's the sect's Northern Gate Grand Formation. Could it be? The Underworld sect is attacking. Qin Nan shared her worry. Come on, let's go see what's happening. The two of them immediately flew towards the explosion at the vast moon sect's northern gate. A colossal, ferocious white-furred beast stood there, its eyes glowing blood-red, its entire body radiating a dark, malevolent aura. The vast moon disciples held their swords, staring at the monster before them. We can't let this beast attack the Grand Formation. Let's go. But before they could even move, the beast lunged forward, clawing at them with insane fury. Fresh blood sprayed through the air as the female disciples collapsed, crying out in agony. After felling the disciples, the beast began absorbing energy from the Grand Formation. One conscious disciple, too weak to fight, could only watch in horror, whispering, "We're finished." Just then, a gleaming sword plunged into the ground right before her. She stared blankly. What is this? Qin Nan and Ruyun had arrived just in time. He glanced at the beast, then turned to Ruyun. Ruyun, I'll leave restraining this beast to you. Ruyun stepped forward, replying decisively, Got it. With that, she raised her scepter, summoning the power of lightning. In a flash, countless bolts erupted from the staff. as a massive current descended from the heavens, binding the beast and locking it in place. It roared in agony. Seizing the opportunity, Qin Nan charged forward. He raised his fist. "I'll take your life while you're down." A powerful blow slammed into the beast's head, knocking it unconscious. In an instant, he leaped off its body and called for the divine flying sword. The blade, still embedded in the ground, shot into the air and returned to Qin Nan's hand. A female disciple who witnessed the scene couldn't help but exclaim, So handsome. Next, Qin Nan charged again with his sword, unleashing the Asura blade draw technique. In the blink of an eye, the beast's head was severed from its neck. Ning Ruyun flew down from above as Qin Nan looked at the corpse and said, "Something's not right with this wolf. Even though I killed it, the demonic energy around its body hasn't faded. It seems it was also corrupted by evil." His gaze hardened. Until now, he had only seen humans fall to the demonic path, but he never thought even spirit beasts could be corrupted. At that moment, Li Yu also descended. "It seems the situation is far more serious than I anticipated." The other disciples rushed over when they saw their master. "Master," she looked at her students. "Take the injured disciples to the spirit medicine pavilion for treatment. Leave the rest to me." The other female disciples bowed their heads in understanding. Qin Nan quickly asked, "Sect Master, Li, you just said the situation is more serious than you imagined. What did you mean?" "Li, you didn't hide anything. It appears this evil power can not only control humans, but it can even control spirit beasts. Furthermore, this white moon wolf attacked only our vast moon sect. It's obvious it was being controlled by the underworld sect." Her eyes grew sharp. "This means the number of enemies we must face will be far greater. Though this white moon wolf was only at the 8th level of the spirit division realm, it is not the only one of its kind. In the myriad snow mountain range of the northern region, there are thousands of such white moon wolves. Moreover, they have a wolf king leading their pack. If even the wolf king has been corrupted and is controlled by the underworld sect, then those thousands of white moon wolves will launch a frenzied assault against our vast moon sect." Li Yu closed her eyes. "At that point, if the underworld sect's forces also arrive, then our vast moon sect, even if we are stronger, I fear we won't be able to withstand the onslaught." Qin Nan crossed his arms. "Then the only way forward is to eliminate this white moon wolf pack to ensure the vast moon sect can stand against the underworld sect." And that was the grim reality of their situation, with the white moon wolf pack as their vanguard. The underworld sect's power now eclipses the bright moon sect's. To stand any chance of victory, Li Yu's clan must first annihilate this monstrous pack. But a cruel twist of fate binds her. Li Yu cannot leave the sect's grounds, and none of her disciples have reached the mortal's shattering realm. Without a moment's hesitation, Qin Nan stepped forward. "Do not worry. Leave the task of eliminating the white moon wolves to me. I am on the verge of breaking through the mortal realm, and this is the crucible I need. This mission to wipe out the white moon wolves is the perfect opportunity to temper my skills." But hearing this, Li Yu simply shook her head. "You intend to face 10,000 of those beasts alone? My boy, this is no time for jokes. And don't you forget, your power is still only at the peak of the soul-splitting realm. Now, if you had already reached the mortal shattering realm, perhaps then you would stand a chance." The next morning, Qin Nan and the old ancestor found a secluded spot to discuss their plans. The beast from yesterday was merely at the 8th level of the soul-splitting realm. In a 1-on-1 duel, I could easily handle it. The ancestor, with his hands clasped behind his back, calmly explained, "A single wolf is indeed no threat, but an entire pack, they would tear you to shreds." Qin Nan nodded gravely. "The ancestor's words are wise. I must be patient and wait for the perfect moment to strike." Despite saying this, he was soon hiding behind a bush, scouting the enemy's movements. Standing on a high cliff, he thought. It sounds like there's activity down below. A moment later, his eyes widened in utter shock. Before him, a pack of white moon wolves were calmly drinking water near a massive cave entrance. The young man slowly crouched down to get a better look. So this is the White Moon Wolves' territory. That cave must be the den of the Wolf King. The old ancestor stood calmly, stroking his beard. The aura emanating from that cave is incredibly potent, likely beyond the peak of the soul-splitting realm. My boy, it seems you've finally met a worthy opponent. But that wasn't all. Qin Nan sensed something else. Another presence, rapidly approaching. Looking to the sky, he recognized the two figures who had accompanied Hong Yang before. Aren't those the left and right-hand guardians of Elder Hong Yang from the Underworld sect? What are they doing here? The two men hovered in the air, encased in an orb of energy, and shouted down, "Listen up, you little beasts." One of them tossed a pill into the lake where the wolves were drinking. "We brought you a delicious treat." Instantly, the crystal-clear water turned a murky, inky black. The wolves that drank the poisoned water were immediately corrupted. Their eyes turned blood red as demonic energy billowed from their bodies, and they let out a deafening, ferocious roar. Seeing this, one of the men declared with a smug grin, "HMPH, excellent. Another pack has drunk the corruption liquid. More White Moon Wolves, for our Underworld sect to command." The other chimed in with a wicked laugh. "Ha ha, the Bright Moon sect will fall to us, sooner or later. Then our sect master will obtain the heaven-defying bloodline and become the sole, undisputed ruler of this northern region." From his vantage point, Qin Nan witnessed the entire scheme. So, the Underworld sect uses that orb to corrupt spiritual beasts. The ancestor beside him stroked his silver beard and explained, "These White Moon Wolves were originally only at the 5th or 6th level of the soul-splitting realm. Once corrupted, their power instantly surges to the 7th or 8th level. A power boost so immense could easily tempt countless spiritual beasts and even martial artists to embrace the demonic path." Another voice rang out, "The Wolf King up ahead is your responsibility." The black-haired man spoke to his white-haired companion. "If you can corrupt it as well, the sect master will surely promote you." The white-haired man scoffed, "Do you take me for a fool? That Wolf King's strength is at least at the peak of the soul-splitting realm. It might have even reached the mortal shattering stage. With my power, I'd be lucky to escape with my life, let alone all my limbs. I'll let you have this golden opportunity." The black-haired man gritted his teeth. "I am the right-hand guardian, your superior. Are you defying my orders?" The white-haired man crossed his arms, showing no fear of death. "You can kill me, but I'm not going in there." The other man let out a vile sneer. "Fine. If you refuse, I'll just have to tell everyone about your little affair with the sect masters. 4th concubine. Let's see if the sect master spares your life then." The white-haired man's face contorted with rage. His hand balled into a fist as he pointed at the other. "You." He snatched the demonic orb and said through clenched teeth, "Fine. I'll go." His companion watched him go with a mocking smirk. "HMPHI have you wrapped around my finger, yet you still dare to act so defiant." A terrifying roar echoed from the depths of the cave. Suddenly, the white-haired man scrambled out, screaming for his life. "Help me!" Following close behind was a pair of glowing eyes in the darkness. The Wolf King charged out, its back covered in jagged shards of ice. Seeing this, the black-haired man launched a vicious kick at his partner, sending him flying back toward the Wolf King. "Get back in there for me," he snarled. In the blink of an eye, the beast was upon him, with its razor-sharp fangs. The white-haired man only had time to let out a final, blood-curdling scream. "Ah!" Blood splattered across the face of the black-haired man as he watched the spectacle with sadistic glee. "See, didn't the mission get completed just fine?" The Wolf King was now shrouded in dark energy, fresh blood dripping from its jaws. The old ancestor folded his hands behind his back, his demeanor calm, but his words were heavy. "The Wolf King has now been corrupted. Its power has reached the 2nd level of the mortal shattering realm. This has become complicated." Qin Nan stroked his chin, deep in thought. The gap between the soul-splitting and mortal shattering realms is immense. Facing it head-on is too risky. I can only wait for the right opportunity. The surviving black-haired guardian held up a golden token, a treacherous smile on his face. "Now it's time to show the Elder our results." He crushed the token with all his might, and a stream of dark purple energy shot into the sky. A sharp pain suddenly pierced his chest, and he coughed up a mouthful of blood, trying to suppress the agony. Despite the pain, the black-haired man forced a perfect smile. With the left-hand guardian dead, all the glory is mine. All of it will be mine. The Elder might even promote me to Grand Guardian. A blinding golden light descended from the heavens, and Elder Hong Yang materialized before him. The Elder demanded, "Where is the left-hand guardian?" The man feigned grief, bowing his head. "While we were corrupting the Wolf King, he was carelessly struck and wounded. I did everything I could to save him, but he was devoured by the beast. Fortunately, he still had a corruption pill on him. Only after devouring the left-hand guardian did the Wolf King successfully fall to corruption. I barely escaped with my own life." The Elder turned to look at the beast. "This Wolf King has indeed been successfully corrupted," the man reported with a triumphant grin. "Great Elder! The White Moon Wolf King has fallen to the darkness. With this beast and its pack at our command, the power of our Netherworld sect will soar." Shrouded in a demonic aura, the Wolf King let out a savage roar. Elder Hung Yang smirked, satisfied. "Well done. From this day forward, you are a great protector of the Netherworld sect. This entire pack is now under your control. When the time comes to assault the vast Moon sect, you will lead them into battle." The man bowed deeply. "I am grateful for this honor, Elder." Hong Yan's gaze remained fixed on the corrupted beast. "But there is one critical detail you must remember. Though the Wolf King has been corrupted for our use, you must never, under any circumstances, allow it to be wounded. If it sustains any injury, its immense power will erupt into an uncontrollable rage. It will go berserk, slaughtering friend and foe alike without distinction." The new protector declared, "Disciple understands. I will control this pack for the glory of our sect." Satisfied, Elder Hong Yang turned to leave. "Good. This domain is now yours to command. I am leaving." But high above, the ancestor had heard every word, chuckling in amusement. "Hey, you little rascal! Did you catch what that old fool just said?" Qin Nan couldn't hide his mischievous grin. Loud and clear. "He said the Wolf King can't be injured, or it'll go berserk and attack everyone. So, I think you know exactly what needs to be done, don't you? Hey! Causing trouble is my specialty." A golden orb of pure energy materialized in Qin Nan's palm. To wound this beast, he'd need to use 80% of his power. With a sharp cry, he yelled, "Go!" The sphere of energy shot through the air like a comet. Sensing the sudden danger, Hong Yang whipped around, but it was too late. Qin Nan's attack slammed directly into the Wolf King. Elder Hong Yang's eyes widened in pure terror. "No, this is a disaster." A blinding light erupted from the impact. The black-haired man shielded his eyes from the glare. When the light faded, the Wolf King's eyes glowed a deep, bloody crimson. Its demonic aura surged, more powerful than ever before. "It's no use. The Wolf King has gone berserk." Without hesitation, the enraged beast lunged at the new protector. The man could only scream in terror. "Ah! Elder, help me!" Hong Yang roared in frustration. "Why are you running? You are a protector of the Netherworld sect. Show some spine and fight back with me." But before he could even mount a defense, the Wolf King's jaws snapped shut around him. Elder Hong Yang was incandescent with rage. "You wretched beast! You dare kill two of my protectors! Today, I will personally end your miserable existence." The Wolf King, its eyes burning with fury, answered with a terrifying roar. It charged directly at the Elder. From a safe distance, Qin Nan and the ancestor watched the cataclysmic clash. Qin Nan chuckled, thoroughly enjoying the show. Hey! The Wolf King is a second-level mortal transcending beast, while that old dog is only at the first level. This is going to be a tough fight for him, the ancestor noted grimly. The battle was absolutely brutal. The elder had even managed to slay many of the lesser wolves. But now, both combatants were heavily wounded. Qin Nan saw his golden opportunity. While the titans clashed, the clever hunter reaps the rewards. I believe that's my cue. Elsewhere, Hongyang clutched his wounded arm. His body, drenched in blood, trembled from exhaustion. Just then, Qin Nan descended from the sky like a celestial being. He offered a casual smile. Elder Hongyang, your cultivation is quite impressive. The elder's eyes nearly bulged from their sockets. He snarled through gritted teeth. So it was. You're the little rat who caused all this chaos. Qin Nan spread his arms wide, completely at ease. Elder Hongyang, not long ago you used your superior mortal transcending realm power against this humbled junior. You were so arrogant then. But now that you're injured, I doubt you're even a match for me anymore. Are you? It's time I took your miserable life. You dare! Hongyang bellowed. The ancestor warned from the sidelines. Be careful, Qin Nan. Even gravely injured, an old fox like him is dangerous. He'll surely have a few tricks left up his sleeve. Wasting no time, Qin Nan unleashed a devastating technique. The Asura blade slash. In that life-or-death moment, Hongyang pulled out an ancient talisman. He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. A teleportation array blazed to life around him. Hongyang cackled triumphantly. You wretched brat, just you wait. And in a flash of light, he vanished. Qin Nan stood there, momentarily, stunned. He certainly has a lot of ways to run away. The ancestor's voice cut through his thoughts. Don't celebrate just yet. The hundreds of remaining wolves and that wounded wolf king will be more than enough to overwhelm you. But far from being afraid, Qin Nan looked absolutely thrilled. He raised his sword. HMPH. Then this will be the perfect training session. The wolf king stepped forward, bearing its razor-sharp fangs, its eyes burning with bloodlust. It raised its claws, ready to tear him to shreds. Qin Nan leaped into the air, gripping his sword with both hands, and plunged it directly towards the Wolf King's head. Go to hell! Meanwhile, in a distant mountain range, nestled within a glowing, ethereal domain, lay the headquarters of the Netherworld sect. A woman with striking magenta hair leaned against a pillar. Seeing Hongyang's battered and pathetic return, she sneered. Well, if it isn't the great Elder Hong. Weren't you just going to investigate the White Moon Wolves? How did you end up in such a disgraceful state? Elder Hongyang ground his teeth in fury. Did you come here just to mock me? Oh, Elder Hong, you misunderstand completely. How could you think so little of me? I merely came to remind you. The sect master is about to end his seclusion. Hongyang's jaw dropped in shock. What? He's coming out? Indeed. Clutching his wounds, Hongyang stated, when the sect master emerges, I will personally report my failings. There is no need for Elder. The two concerned herself. But inwardly, he was consumed by dread. He had failed with the White Moon Wolves. The sect master's wrath and punishment would surely be severe. He thought it better to confess his own guilt than to be condemned by others. The woman turned to leave, pausing to add, Very well then. Do focus on your recovery, Elder Hong. After all, we still need your strength for the assault on the vast moon sect. Hongyang's knuckles turned white as he clenched his fists. *HMPH. What right does that harlot, the sect master's little pet, have to lecture me? Meanwhile, back on the battlefield, Qin Nan had finally brought down the Wolf King. Exhausted, he stood over the beast's body. As expected of a second-level mortal transcending spirit beast, even when it was already wounded. It still managed to injure me. The ancestor's voice was grave. Boy, that is the vast chasm between the spirit-dividing and mortal transcending realms. Qin Nan watched the beast fight the Wolf King with great interest. This is providing me with a ton of combat experience. I feel like I'm about to challenge the worldly shackles once again. Hopefully, I won't fail this time, the old ancestor advised. You must be fully prepared for this attempt. It can't be like your reckless breakthrough in the Black Dragon Gorge. He then pointed towards the White Moon Wolf King. This Wolf King was a mortal transcension beast. It should possess a beast core worthy of its realm. You must retrieve it. Combine it with the blood of this White Moon Wolf and refine it into a pill. The power of that elixir will be more than enough to shatter your limits. Hearing this, Qin Nan immediately raised his sword. All right, this breakthrough will be guaranteed. From the wound his sword had made, the White Moon Wolf King's beast core emerged. The power radiating from this core was truly immense. Qin Nan laughed. I can already feel the potent spiritual energy fluctuating within it. Not only that, but the ancestors sensed the aura of a treasure hidden in the Wolf King's den. If he was willing, Qin Nan could go and test his luck. Carrying his sword, Qin Nan ventured deep into the cave. Atop a pile of shattered bones, he was stunned to see a glowing purple gem. Is this large rock the treasure you spoke of, ancestor? It looks rather ordinary to me. The ancestor slapped the blockhead's skull and roared. You blind but incredibly lucky brat. This is divine vein iron. It's a legendary ore from the divine realm itself. Across the entire Tianyan continent, it's as rare as a phoenix feather. Qin Nan was dumbfounded. It's really that rare, the ancestor explained sternly. The blade in your hand was forged from this very divine vein iron, and you still dare to doubt its value. He held up his heaven-splitting sword, examining it closely. This was truly made from this massive stone. A flame appeared in Qin Nan's palm as he spoke. The fire gradually enveloped the stone, causing it to slowly shrink in size. The ancestor instructed, You can find a master craftsman to use this divine vein iron and your heaven-splitting sword. It will vastly increase the sword's might. Qin Nan nodded eagerly. Okay, I'll ask the Heo sect master when I return. Without wasting a moment, he waved his hand and summoned an alchemy furnace. The most important thing right now was to consume the pill and descend. Soon, a brilliant golden halo exploded from within the cave. A few minutes later, Qin Nan's confident voice rang out. The pill is complete, and it's circulating with pill key. The quality of this elixir has reached the profound grade. Clutching the freshly forged pill, Qin Nan knew the moment to challenge the worldly shackles had arrived. Without hesitation, he tossed the pill straight into his mouth. Instantly, a strange energy surged up his spine, making his eyes widen. Power seemed to radiate from his very gaze. Qin Nan let out a roar that pierced the heavens. In the sky above, a countless barrage of heavenly lightning descended like a storm. His ordinary hand suddenly transformed, glowing a brilliant gold. The ancestor watched on, muttering quietly, It's here. The bolts of lightning were relentless. They struck directly at Qin Nan with lethal force. Even the ancestor broke into a cold sweat, shouting encouragement. Qin Nan, you must persevere. This is only the beginning. At the same time, back at the Heo sect, the sky suddenly turned dark. The disciples looked up, their voices filled with awe. Another martial artist is breaking through to the mortal transcension realm. How terrifying! Ning Ruyun's heart tightened as she watched the furious heavenly tribulation. Could that be Qin Nan? Standing beside her, Li Yu's sharp eyes recognized the direction. That's where the White Moon Wolves gather. It has to be him. Ning Ruyun could only clasp her hands and pray. Brother Qin Nan, you must successfully break through to the mortal transcension realm. Meanwhile, at the Netherworld sect's seclusion grounds, the area was swarming with people. The dark clouds and terrifying heavenly lightning in the sky quickly drew their attention. A woman looked up, her face deep in thought. We know every expert in this northern region. No one should be breaking through to the mortal transcension realm right now. Besides, look at the intensity of this heavenly lightning. It far surpasses the tribulations we faced during our own breakthroughs. Hong Yang gritted his teeth. Not from the northern region. At the peak of the spirit division realm. It can only be that little thief, Qin Nan. Just then, the doors to the seclusion chamber exploded into pieces. Everyone around rejoiced as if they'd struck gold. The sect master has emerged. A man with long, silver hair and ice-cold eyes, stepped out. A sky-high evil aura radiated from his entire body. All the members of the Netherworld sect quickly knelt to the ground. We respectfully welcome the sect master out of seclusion. He merely glanced at the sky and whispered, "This heavenly tribulation, it's somewhat similar to my own breakthrough." Back with Qin Nan. The final bolts of lightning vanished, leaving behind a completely flattened landscape, a testament to their devastating power. Qin Nan slowly opened his eyes and looked at his hands. With a single move, a nearby boulder shattered into dust. Even Qin Nan himself was shocked. So this is the power of the mortal transcension realm. It's incredible. The ancestor stroked his beard, laughing with satisfaction. That's right. You are now at the first level of the mortal transcension realm. You have forcibly broken through the worldly shackles of this continent. From now on, you must strive towards the divine realm. Qin Nan shouted in shock. The divine realm. I, Qin Nan, will definitely reach the divine realm. A short while later, Qin Nan returned to the Heyo sect. Ningrun was stunned to see him, stammering, "Brother Qin Nan, how did it go?" Then her face lit up with joy. "Were you the one who summoned that heavenly lightning? You've broken through to the first level of the mortal transcension realm." Qin Nan was just as excited. "Yes, I've successfully reached the first level. Now I can protect you even better." Hearing this, Ningrun blushed unconsciously. "Who needs your protection? I can protect myself just fine." Qin Nan stopped teasing her and turned to Li. "You, Sect Master Li Yu, I report. The White Moon Wolves have been completely purged. Even their king has fallen by my hand. The Netherworld sect support is gone." A smile of admiration crossed Li Yu's face. "You've truly outdone yourself, kid. I didn't expect this. Your power has grown astonishingly fast. In a mere moment, you've already reached the first level of the mortal breaking realm. Not bad at all." She then turned to tease Ningrun. "Little one, look at your young man. He's already ascended to the mortal breaking realm. If you don't start training harder, he'll surely leave you in the dust." Hearing this, Ningrun's resolve became ironclad. I will push myself. I will definitely reach the mortal breaking realm too." Qin Nan stepped forward to comfort her. "Of course, you will. After all, Ruyun, you possess the bloodline of the Shi Tian, one of the 10 great ancient bloodlines. Breaking through to the mortal breaking realm should be a simple matter for you, right?" Encouraged, Ningrun's spirit sword. "Maham, I will definitely catch up to you. I won't be a burden." Qin Nan placed his hands on his hips and laughed heartily. Excellent. I'll be waiting for you to surpass me." Li Yu interrupted, breaking the mood. "Excuse me, lovebirds." She crossed her arms, her expression turning serious. Just as Qin Nan broke through to the mortal breaking realm, the sect master of the Netherworld sect, Ju Yu, has also emerged from his seclusion. My senses tell me that while he was previously at the second level of the mortal breaking realm, he has now reached the third, even without the help of those White Moon Wolves. The Netherworld sect's power is now enough to rival our Haoyu sect. She touched her forehead, letting out a sigh. What? A headache. The ancestor behind her also chimed in with his analysis. "With your current strength, plus your bloodline's power, you might be able to fight a second-level mortal-breaking realm warrior. But against a third-level opponent, your chances of winning are slim. Moreover, once you reach the mortal-breaking realm, the power gap between each minor level is absolutely enormous. A third-level warrior is at least 10 times stronger than a second-level one." Qin Nan stroked his chin. "I see. No wonder I thought it was strange that one would need to enter seclusion just to break through from the second to the third level. But hearing the ancestor's explanation, it all makes perfect sense now." Suddenly, cracks began to appear on the Haoyu sect's protective barrier. Disciples rushed toward Li, their faces pale as ghosts. "Sect Master, this is bad. We're under attack." Li Yu's brows furrowed. "Damn it. It must be the Netherworld sect. They've come. She turned to Qin Nan and Ning Ruyun. Let's go. We'll meet them. Head on. The three of them flew out of the gates like lightning. As soon as they landed, they saw a horde from the Netherworld sect waiting. The moment Liu saw Elder Hongyang, she immediately shot a verbal barb. So it's you, old dog. Itching for another beating. This time, Hongyang was brimming with confidence. Humph, a sharp tongue. Our sect master has successfully emerged from seclusion, breaking through to the 3rd level of the mortal breaking realm. Hearing this, you could only grit her teeth. HMPH. The Netherworld sect lackeys seized the chance to burst out laughing. Ho ho! Ha ha ha! Hongyang waved his hand dismissively. Don't be afraid. We've come today to offer your Hao Yu sect two choices. First, obediently hand over Qin, Nan, and Ning Rui. Do this, and all past grievances between the Hao Yu sect and my Netherworld sect can be forgotten. Or second, I will slaughter everyone in the Hao Yu sect, ... and then take Qin Nan and Ning Ruyan. So, I will give Sect Master Liu the time it takes to count to 10 to consider. After I reach 10. If you still haven't made a choice, I will personally slaughter every last one of you. The woman behind him then spoke up. Forgiven. Isn't Elder Hongyang being far too generous? The pink-haired woman laughed triumphantly. Ha ha ha! Do you see now? In the face of absolute power, even the most strong-willed person will obediently submit. But Li Yu's face only darkened as a smirk played on her lips. In the next instant, she launched a devastating kick at the woman, followed by a vicious curse. Submit my foot, taken by surprise. The woman grunted and spat out a mouthful of blood. Hongyang rushed to support her. You little brat, how dare you launch a sneak attack? Li Yu retorted mockingly. Oh, your Netherworld sect commits countless evil deeds, and now you can't stand seeing someone else play dirty. How utterly ridiculous. Elder Hongyang was choked with anger, only able to point his finger. You. He then decided to act. HMPH, I gave you a path to survival, but you refused it. Then die for me. A giant golden palm materialized the vast heaven palm. Li Yu firmly gripped her sword. You dare to show off such a pathetic trick in front of me. With a single slash, she tore Hongyang's technique in two, but he didn't stop, launching another attack. Ha ha! Take this, Li Yu moved as gracefully as the wind, effortlessly dodging the blow and closing the distance to Hongyang, putting him on the defensive and a look of panic on his face. Just then, the other woman charged at Li Yu with her sword. Die! Seeing the situation turn dangerous, Qin Nan rushed to intercept her. Have you no shame? Ganging up on a single opponent, the woman swung her sword wildly. In that case, you can die first. But Qin Nan remained unfazed, easily evading her attacks. This woman's cultivation level wasn't high, but her methods were extremely vicious, always aiming for her opponent's vital points. Hearing his words, she laughed with contempt. In a life-or-death battle, any method is fair game. As long as it can kill you, I'll use it, no matter how cruel. Hearing this, Qin Nan summoned the spirit within him, and a sick, sword-wielding figure appeared. If that's how you want to play, then I won't hold back either. The woman was no less impressive, summoning a massive scorpion spirit. That suits me just fine. The two of them clashed, the ghastly clang of their weapons echoing through the air. She screamed, Brat! I am at the peak of the first-level mortal-breaking realm, about to break through to the second. If we're just comparing spiritual power, you are guaranteed to lose to me. Qin Nan simply chuckled inwardly. Oh, is that so? But perhaps you've heard, I possess more than just one ancient bloodline. In a simple contest of spiritual power, I might lose. But when it comes to the raw strength of that power, you've already lost. As he finished, a brilliant emerald light erupted from his blade. The sacred spirit wood. She shrieked in astonishment. A wood attribute, bloodline, Qin Nan declared with a smirk. This is the might of an ancient bloodline. Terror gripped the woman's heart. This kid's spiritual energy, it's horrifying. Emerald light swirled around Qin Nan as he raised his sword, preparing the final strike. How did it suddenly grow so immense? Shatter, with a piercing crack. Her sword split in two instantly. The woman screamed in terror. This is bad. Suddenly, she glanced down at her arm. A deep gash had appeared without her realizing it, blood pouring freely. Clutching the wound, she gritted her teeth in pain. Damnation. At that very moment, Elder Hong Yang fell, defeated by Li Yu. Li Yu smiled, thoroughly pleased. Elder Hong Yang, are you getting slow in your old age? Why have you become so pathetic? The woman struggled to her feet, seething. Remember this humiliation. You will pay for it. We will be back soon. Our Netherworld sect master will personally visit your vast moon sect. No one will escape. All of you will die today. Li Yu feigned terror. Oh no, I'm so scared. I'm surely going to die. Then, her expression turned to ice. Go and deliver a message to your master. Tell him to bring more people next time, or his death will be unsightly. Hearing this, the Netherworld sect members could only retreat in disgrace. Let's go! Li Yu watched them leave with utter contempt. HMPHA. A flock of cowards. Suddenly, a strange phenomenon tore across the sky, forcing everyone to look up. The master of the Netherworld sect descended, his body shrouded in a dense, suffocating black aura. His voice was laced with ice. To think, while I was in seclusion, your cultivation realms haven't progressed in the slightest. You truly disappoint me. Under his crushing spiritual pressure, the sect members instantly dropped to their knees, begging for mercy. We deserve death, Master. We swear to train harder. He didn't even spare them a glance. Humph. Unless the situation is absolutely dire, you are forbidden from using the power of demonic corruption. They all responded in unison. Yes, Master. Standing nearby, Li Yu couldn't see a thing, and began to mock the Netherworld sect disciples. Have all of you lost your minds? Why are you kneeling to thin air? But Qin Nan felt a deep unease. He sensed an overwhelmingly powerful aura from that direction. Right then, Li Yu's expression changed. Now that you mention it, I can feel it too. Could it really be? Her eyes widened, a flicker of fear in their depths. Is it Ju? At that very moment, a bolt of lightning crashed down right behind them. Ju, you materialized with a wicked smile on his face. It's been a long time. Sect Master Li Yu. Li Yu spun around to face him, demanding, Ju, what is your purpose here? His lecherous gaze swept over Li Yu. Why, I've come to claim someone. Of course. At his words, she immediately moved to shield Ningruan. Don't even think about it, she declared. Hearing this, Ju Yu's figure blurred, appearing before Li Yu in the blink of an eye. With a single hand, he effortlessly lifted Ningruan into the air, stunning Li Yu. He then delivered a vicious slap across her face. Seeing this, Qin Nan charged forward. He roared. Ningruan, Ju, you. Smugly raised two fingers, electricity crackling between them. Such youthful recklessness always comes with a price. He roared. Lightning strike. A massive bolt of purple energy slammed into Qin Nan, sending him to the ground. The other woman seized the opportunity, quickly taking hold of Ningruan. Ju, you gazed down at the fallen Qin Nan, his face filled with triumph. Oh, Qin Nan, is this the extent of your power now? My own master warned me to be wary of you, but from what I see today, you're nothing but a pathetic ant. Weakly, Qin Nan used his sword to push himself up. A sneak attack. Is that the limit of your skill? Ju Yu's pride was stung. Fine, then. Let's have a proper fight. With that, Qin Nan lunged forward, swinging his blade with all his might at Ju. But his opponent stood perfectly still, making no move to evade. Qin Nan was shocked. He's not even going to dodge! A barrier of purple lightning flared to life around him, rendering Qin Nan's attack completely useless. "Ju," you sneered. "It's pointless. Did you really think a first-level Transcendent Realm cultivator could even scratch the defense of someone at the 3rd level?" He raised an eyebrow. "Do you have any idea how many elixirs I've consumed? How many souls I've corrupted and whose life force I've devoured? To reach the 3rd level of the Transcendent Realm. This power was built on a mountain of sacrifices. And you, Qin Nan, thought you could defeat me with your pathetic first-level strength. How laughable." He chuckled with arrogance. "Teaching you a lesson isn't even worth my personal attention." With that, he turned to the woman. "The Zhuan, I'll leave Qin Nan for you to handle. Give Ning Ruyun to me." With that, Zhu Yu slung Ning Ruyun over his shoulder. He then tossed the Zhuan an object. "I'll also leave you this berserk lightning pill. For a short time, it will grant you lightning power, nearly on par with an ancient gold attribute bloodline. It will be more than enough to deal with Qin Nan." The Zhuan took the pill, overjoyed. "Yes, master." As Zhu Yu turned to leave with Ning Ruyun, he glanced back at Qin Nan. "As for your bloodline, Qin Nan, my master will deal with you personally. I don't even need to lift a finger, and Ning Ruyun's bloodline is now mine." Qin Nan gripped his sword, roaring, "Put Ning Ruyun down." But the Zhuan blocked his path. "Qin Nan, if you want her back, you'll have to get through me first." She then tossed the lightning pill into her mouth. A colossal surge of power erupted from her body, making even the Zhuan gasp. So this is the power of the berserk lightning pill. It's truly overwhelming. Qin Nan knew that to save Ning Ruyun, he first had to defeat this woman. He pointed his sword towards her and unleashed his technique. Boundless, falling leaves. A storm of razor-sharp leaves materialized, hurtling towards the Zhuan, but she merely sneered. "A decent technique, worthy of the ancient wood attribute's power. But it's a pity for you. My furious lightning pill has granted me immense metal energy. And metal, as you know, conquers wood. It is the law of nature." Her aura flared as she unleashed her power. "Qin Nan, surely you're not that ignorant." The sharp leaves disintegrated upon contact with the barrier around the Zhuan. A triumphant laugh escaped her lips. "Did you see that? Your wood-based attacks are utterly useless against my lightning shield. They simply vanish into nothingness." Qin Nan's brow furrowed as he summoned the power of the earth attribute. Seeing this, the Zhuan burst into hysterical laughter. Pointing a finger at him, she lowered her voice to a mocking whisper. "Foolish Qin Nan, don't you know that earth only begets metal? Your earth attacks won't harm me in the slightest. In fact, they'll only amplify my lightning." The old ancestor, watching from the side, grew anxious. "Qin Nan, be warned. Her lightning power perfectly counters both your wood and earth attributes. You must tread carefully." But Qin Nan remained strangely confident, a slight smile on his face. "Even if my ancient wood and earth bloodlines are sealed, I still possessed the Asura Bloodline." As he spoke, he gripped his sword, raising it high. Behind him, the phantom of a 6-armed golden deity materialized. Arcs of electricity crackled around the Zhuan. She snorted disdainfully. "Biha, allow me to show you the true meaning of lightning." The Zhuan raised a hand to the heavens, her voice booming with arrogance. "Heavenly azure lightning." The currents around her surged, and the very thunderclouds above answered her call. A torrent of lightning rained down from the sky. Then, a colossal bolt slammed directly into Qin Nan, blasting a massive crater in the earth. Qin Nan lay motionless at the bottom, his body riddled with wounds. The Zhuan gazed down at his pathetic form, her face a mask of pure triumph. "Once our sect master absorbs Ning Ruyun's Shishin bloodline," she gloated, "the entire Liu sect, no, this entire northern region will kneel before our Netherworld sect." With that, she and the other Netherworld sect members vanished into the sky. Qin Nan's vision swam, his eyes struggling to stay open. He snapped awake with a start, bolting upright and crying out, "Ning Ru!" Liu, standing nearby, watched him calmly. "So, you're awake." Without a word, Qin Nan struggled to his feet, determined. "I have to save Ning Ru." Hearing this, Li Yu crossed her arms, her expression turning serious. "If you go now, you're just marching to your death." She let out a helpless chuckle. "I know, Ju, you said there, exalted one ... would come for your bloodline personally. But you don't have to rush to meet your end." Qin Nan was consumed by helplessness, gritting his teeth in frustration. It was then the old ancestor's voice echoed, "Qin Nan, do not forget ... You possess a piece of divine meteorite iron. If you reforge it into the heaven-burning sword, its power will rival an imperial artifact. That will be enough to stand against Ju Yu." Hope ignited within Qin Nan like a lifeline. He shot to his feet. "If that's the case, I'll find a master blacksmith in the northern region immediately." He turned to Li Yu, expectantly. "Is there a renowned master craftsman nearby? I need someone to forge a weapon for me." Li Yu smiled. "As it happens, you've asked the right person. In the northern region, there is a peerless divine blacksmith named Lingyas. He currently resides in the 10,000 Blades mountain range." Qin Nan was puzzled. "I've heard the 10,000 Blades mountain is a frozen wasteland year. Why would this Lingyasi choose to live in such a place? Double quotes, ... A place of such frigid hardship," Li Yu patiently explained. "Legend says that within those mountains lie countless rare ore veins. Lingyesi chose to live there so he could find these precious materials and perfect his legendary forging techniques." Hearing this, Qin Nan eagerly clasped his hands. "Thank you, Sect Master Li Yu, for your guidance." With that, he immediately rushed out the door. She watched his disappearing figure and smiled to herself. That boy is certainly loyal and devoted. Anyone else would have abandoned Ning Ruyun and fled for their own life by now. Soon after, Qin Nan arrived at the 10,000 Blades mountain. Standing on a high peak and looking down, he thought to himself, "There isn't a single living creature down there. This truly is a land of extreme frost." Suddenly, the old ancestor pointed into the distance. "Look, my boy!" on that faraway peak. ... They're single. Rising, could someone be living there? Qin Nan nodded in agreement. "All right. Let's go and investigate." Without hesitation, he flew straight towards it. As he drew closer to the plumes of smoke, a thought struck him. This mountain, could it possibly be a volcano? The old ancestor was just as stunned. "Indeed, it seems to be a volcano." You should take a closer look from the crater's edge. As they drew near, a vast caldera of molten lava came into view, leaving them both breathless. Qin Nan exclaimed, "This is truly a bizarre sight. The 10,000 Blades mountain range is a frozen wasteland for thousands of miles. How could a volcano possibly exist here?" The old ancestor stroked his beard, equally perplexed. "A volcano here. It's most unusual. My boy, why don't you venture inside and see what you can find?" Qin Nan eyed the old ancestor's all-knowing expression. "Old ancestor, are you trying to get me killed? The lava in there is a churning inferno. I'll be incinerated." The old ancestor pointed towards the caldera. "Look closer. While it appears to be a sea of molten rock, the lava is contained within the mountain's core. That means you can fly inside without being touched by the heat." Qin Nan moved closer to inspect it. It's true. The lava isn't overflowing. The magma is only deep within the volcano's heart. His fear subsiding, he made a decisive move, leaping directly into the mouth of the churning volcano. When his descent stopped, he found himself before an ancient, rickety bridge. A bridge in a place like this. But the overwhelming heat quickly snapped him back to reality. Wiping sweat from his brow, Qin Nan couldn't help but gasp. "It's scorching. I'm going to melt. This heat is absolutely unbearable. Just moments ago, The outside world was a bone-chilling wasteland, but now he was being roasted alive in a scorching inferno. It was truly a trial of two heavens, one of ice and one of fire. The ancestor's voice echoed, pointing towards a hidden corner. Patience, boy. You must endure. Now, look closer over there. Qin Nan's gaze followed his master's guidance. Unbelievable. Concealed within the rock was the entrance to a cave. But suddenly, Qin Nan's consciousness snapped back. Why was he even explaining himself? The ancestor beside him sighed in defeat. Perhaps he'd been pushing the boy too hard lately. The two quickly stepped onto the bridge, getting a clear view of the cave ahead. This was a man-made staircase, and a seed of suspicion began to grow in Qin Nan's mind. Could someone actually be living inside this volcano? Following the steps, Qin Nan walked deeper and deeper until he saw a bright light. Stepping through into a massive hall, he stared in disbelief at the blazing furnace before him. How could such an enormous space exist here? His eyes swept across the chamber. He immediately spotted Ling Yezi in the center, a colossal, muscular man with long red hair and a matching beard. He was bare-chested, drenched in sweat, wielding a giant hammer that he continuously slammed down with immense force. The ancestors sized him up, concluding his cultivation was no lower than the transcendent realm. In fact, it might even be close to the 5th level of that realm. Qin Nan stepped forward and clasped his hands in respect. Are you the great master, Ling Yezi? The man turned. His face darkened, seeing a stranger in his domain. Who are you? Qin Nan walked further in, politely introducing himself. I am Qin Nan, of the Southern Domain's Qin family. Today, I came to 10,000 Blade Mountains specifically to find Grandmaster Ling Yezi. Hearing this, the man looked a bit surprised. From the Southern Domain, you say? The distant Southern Domain was at least 100,000 miles away. He couldn't fathom why this youth had traveled so far to find him. Qin Nan clenched his fist and explained, I managed to find a piece of divine vein iron. I hope Grandmaster Ling Yezi can help me forge it into a weapon. Only then can I stand against Zhu Yu and prevent the Demon Lord's return. The moment Ling Yezi heard the name of the treasure he'd long coveted, his face lit up. The rest of Qin Nan's words seemed to vanish into thin air. He shot up, demanding divine vein iron. He rushed towards Qin Nan, his barrage of questions startling the young man. You've already found divine vein iron. Qin Nan looked up at him with a helpless smile. Yes. I was fortunate enough to find a piece some time ago. I heard Grandmaster Ling Yezi possessed divine skills. ... So, I made this special journey to visit you. The man's face was a mask of impatience, as he waved his hands frantically. Quick! Let me see it. Qin Nan hesitated, feeling a bit conflicted. He was worried about whether he should show it. The ancestor spoke up from the side. Let him see. His face may be fierce, but his heart is kind. He is a good man. Hearing that, Qin Nan obediently presented the ore in his hand. Ling Yezi held the treasure with reverence, his expression one of pure ecstasy. This ... this is it. It really is divine vein iron. I searched tirelessly for 15 years for this ore and found nothing. And now, I finally get to see it. With that thought, he grew even more excited and questioned Qin Nan. You little brat, where did you get this divine vein iron? Tell me, quickly. Qin Nan looked at him with a triumphant glint in his eye. If Grandmaster Ling Yezi truly wishes to know... Then let's make an equal exchange. He clasped his hands behind his back and spoke calmly. You help me forge my weapon, and I will tell you, I will reveal where I obtained this divine vein iron. Ling Yezi clutched the ore tightly, putting on a ferocious act. Aren't you afraid I'll just kill you and take it for myself? Qin Nan didn't flinch. Instead, he smiled. If Grandmaster Ling Yezi truly intended to do that, then the moment I took out the divine vein iron, earlier, you would have already acted. Why would you wait until now? Hearing this, Ling Yezi was utterly delighted, clutching his stomach as he let out a thunderous laugh. Ha! 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 The The cave itself trembled violently from his laughter, and a few stones even fell from the ceiling. But his roaring laughter didn't stop. Ha ha ha! Qin Nan broke out in a cold sweat. This man was truly bizarre. As the laughter died down, a massive hand clamped down on his shoulder. It made Qin Nan jump. The man declared with gusto, "All right, you're an interesting kid. I agreed to your terms." Qin Nan gave a slightly strained smile. "Excellent. Then I shall be in your care." Grandmaster Ling Yez, looking at the man and the colossal flame before him, Qin Nan couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. This man's strength was overwhelming. He felt he could barely withstand the pressure. He watched as his sword and the divine vein iron floated in midair. The sight was truly spectacular. The man swung his hammer, and a torrent of fire enveloped the divine vein iron. His power was simply immense. If he were to strike with his full force, it felt like he could shatter this entire volcano. He let out a mighty roar, flame. Then he raised both hands to the sky. Suddenly, the mountains shook violently, and several rocks gave way and tumbled down. A river of lava began to pour down from above. The magma itself was flowing out. Qin Nan's eyes widened as he yelped, "Ah! Hot, 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 hot!" A few blobs of magma splashed down near him. He quickly flew up, clinging fearfully to the wall, refusing to let go. The lava that had been fiery red just moments ago was now a strange azure color before Ling Ye's eyes. The ancestor looked at the scene, somewhat surprised. This furnace fire has absorbed the volcano's energy, turning the magma into a perfect azure blue. This is the realm of pure azure furnace fire. "Oh, so this furnace fire is," he explained to Qin Nan. "This is the ancient fire tribute bloodline, the pure azure flame." Hearing this, Qin Nan was naturally intrigued. He smiled. For an ancient fire tribute bloodline to appear here, it seems even the heavens are helping me. The divine vein iron was now lifted up by Ling Yezi, encased in a layer of brilliant red magma. He swung his hammer down, striking the ore with immense force, and a strange light erupted all around him. It was so bright that Qin Nan had to shield his eyes. A wave of fear washed over him as he sweated nervously. This power, it's truly terrifying. Even my heart is trembling. He brought the massive hammer down once more. The ancestor, as if seeing true talent, stroked his beard in satisfaction. His hammering technique is incredibly pure and simple, yet it hides a heaven-tier might. Not bad. Not bad at all. Qin Nan held his sword, his body now wreathed in flames as the ancestor watched on. A thought crossed his mind. Every single strike from Ling Yezi's hammer is just so unbelievably pure. ... Double quotes. ... Could it be that he is relying solely on his overwhelming spiritual energy? Qin Nan raised his sword, testing it with a few swings through the air. Originally, ... He had no specific method or form in mind. But if my Asura sword art could absorb this pure, domineering characteristic of his ... Double quotes. ... It would definitely elevate the power of this technique to an incredible new level. The ancestor stroked his long, silver beard with satisfaction. This kid ... He single quotes. S actually able to find enlightenment for his own sword arts within another's techniques. Qin Nan swung his sword one more time, unable to stop himself from shouting out loud. Why has my heaven-shattering sword become so ... strange? Hearing this, the ancestor grew curious. Oh, strange. In what way? But then, he saw the faint smile on Qin Nan's face. A sudden realization struck him. Could it be that this brat's sword mastery is about to ascend to a whole new realm? At that thought, the ancestor beamed, stroking his beard and laughing heartily. Ha ha ha! I knew I wasn't mistaken about you, my boy. You finally comprehended the first realm of the sword. Ling Yachu roared with ferocious intensity. You, brat, hand over the sword. Without a moment's hesitation, Qin Nan tossed the blade over to him. Ling Yachu caught the sword, then began striking its body with unbelievably powerful hammer blows. The ancestor watched Ling Yachu, thinking to himself that, with such power, He must have broken through to at least the 5th realm, and his forging techniques were anything but ordinary. His gaze was steady, and with the addition of the rare divine vein iron, the power of the heaven-shattering sword was bound to be magnified immensely. The blacksmith's muscles bulged like a titan's. With a thunderous roar, he brought the colossal hammer down. As the hammer struck, sparks flew like a storm of fireflies. It was a spectacle one would only witness during the forging of a legendary weapon, one nearing the holy grade. Even a seasoned master like Ling Yachu was left gaping in awe. The power of this divine vein iron was the real deal, buffing the already heavenly greatsword to an entirely new dimension. In a flash, a crimson blade radiating an overwhelmingly fierce aura materialized right before Qin Nan and the Ancestor. This stunning transformation left our hero completely speechless. Just one glance was enough to know this sword was on another level. Ling Yechu, thoroughly pleased with his work, smirked and began to flex a little. Your sword was never an ordinary blade to begin with. Now, enhanced by the divine vein iron and my own forging arts, calling it a peerless divine weapon is no exaggeration. He stood with his hands on his hips, looking at Qin Nan with a challenging glint in his eyes. However, this blade's weight has multiplied several times over. I wonder if a little brat like you even has the strength to draw it. Qin Nan's expression turned serious. He strode over to the sword and gripped its hilt firmly with both hands. The moment Qin Nan touched the blade, it erupted in an incredibly powerful, blinding light. The Ancestor's face lit up with joy. The divine sword has chosen its master, and the master has chosen his sword. This is truly a bond forged by fate. For the newly reforged heaven-shattering sword to resonate so strongly with Qin Nan and unleash such immense energy fluctuations. Excellent. Qin Nan tightened his grip. He channeled every ounce of strength in his body to lift it. Here! Ling Yechu, standing by, couldn't help but comment, this divine weapon possesses a natural-born arrogance, yet this boy can actually tame that spirit. He chuckled with delight. Not bad. Not bad at all. After a grueling struggle, Qin Nan finally succeeded, tearing the sword from the ground as a colossal wave of energy exploded outwards. Dust and debris filled the air. The Ancestor laughed, stroking his beard in approval. This is the sword's resonance. This boy's realm of swordsmanship has undeniably soared to new heights. Even Ling Yechu had to clench his fists, deeply moved. Well done. To think a brat like him could draw a sword this heavy. It seems I truly underestimated you. Qin Nan held the sword steady, let out a mighty roar, and swung it with all his might. The power of that single swing surpassed everyone's wildest imagination. Ling Yechu screamed in alarm. This is bad. The lava is overflowing. He quickly thrust his hand forward, channeling his power. The surging river of lava instantly froze in midair. Slightly annoyed, Ling Yechu put his hands on his hips and playfully scolded him. Hey, watch it, kid. We're inside a volcano. You know. Are you trying to take a lava bath? Realizing the trouble he'd caused, Qin Nan just scratched his head and chuckled awkwardly. My apologies. The blacksmith crossed his arms and walked over, his tone shifting to business. All right, I've finished forging your weapon. Now it's time for you to fulfill your end of the bargain. Tell me, where did you find this divine vein iron? Qin Nan didn't see any reason to hide it and answered truthfully. I found this piece of divine vein iron in the cave of the White Moon Wolf King, located in the 10,000 Snows mountain range. But at the time, there was only one.